but it'll take me to the second default. No, let's do this one. Here is this one. Now you can. Now they can hear you guys. Now let me do the me, and then the properties for the me, and then the default of the me, and then the microphone of the me. There's microphone of me. Now you can hear. Damn it! Why isn't my microphone working? Me me. Oh, it's speakers. that was the wrong one. What is it? I'm here. Uh,
Respectful. I was not expecting that.
I wasn't. Sorry about that. Okay, now
Like it
everything's working.
slapped me in the face, and I saw it, and I was like, oh.
There's
I
still
didn't
no
know.
audio.
No audio.
No, we got it. We got
No,
it. It's
what?
up now. It's fixed.
Sounds like
Okay.
It's a feast.
Cool.
It's a feast.
Okay.
Pizza
Good work.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Dinner in a Game, where we sit around and just make mouth faces. We're not actually saying anything when that happens. We're just making faces with our mouths and just
We
trying to
make
pretend
mouth
it.
faces.
Yeah. We know that there's no audio, so we're just, we're just fucking around with it. Hey, folks, how you doing? We are here because we are missing a few folks. As always, and instead of just me playing a video game or y'all just chilling out with nothing to or going to another stream and everything like that, we are going to say hi and we're going to play some stuff or talk about some stuff. And the first thing we're going to be discussing, and I need to find video for this because we're going to be discussing one of Cove's hyperfixations, and that is the ocean. And the reason we're discussing this is because Cove has something to tell us. Because I was mentioning in the whole little pre-chat that the whole orcas attacking boats off of the coast of Spain, and I thought this was a new phenomenon. Like this just started happening. But Cove has the scoop. So Cove, fire away.
So, has been happening for ages, for years, specifically ever since commercial fishing vessels became a thing, even a bit before then, because orcas have a phenomenal memory, and orcas communicate with other orcas, and orca pods. I will fight you. Sorry, I just saw in chat. Anyway,
Orcas are just me.
I will fight you.
That's Tom,
See,
too.
I was looking for reasons to throw hands. I have found more reasons to throw hands. Perfect. But orcas, like their pods, will communicate with other pods. And so essentially they can gossip, information can travel around. And so if one pod of orcas is being fished, is being hunted, is being trapped, killed, things like that, that information will spread. And when one orca figures out how to sink a ship, it literally teaches other orcas how to sink those ships. And they can't exactly tell between like a random person's yacht and a fishing vessel. Like they're all boats, they're all ships. And so what we see and what we've been able to see is as the years have gone by are orcas sinking rich fuckers' yachts. Mainly because they believe, mainly because they believe they're fishing vessels.
I heard the thing that happened off of Spain was literally because a yacht hit and either killed or injured a member of that pod.
What? How do you hate an orca?
Yeah, and so then the female orca who apparently are they matriarchal? It depends.
Ish.
Yeah. Well, the leader of the pod was a female, and she began leading the pod to attack boats roughly the same size, and that just kept on happening. And apparently, she was very, very specific on being, she was going to sink everybody.
It's great.
I'm here for that. Instead of eat the rich, sink the rich. I'm here for it.
So something that I was talking about before we actually got on live that I'm going to reiterate here because I feel like people need to know my stance on this is
they really do.
One of the reasons I love the ocean, or I guess a couple of reasons, is I love that a lot of humans are incredibly terrified of the ocean and are terrified of what it's in the ocean because something needs to keep us in check. Something needs to keep the human race in check on the fucking food chain. Because like on land and shit, we have guns, we have all that kind of stuff. We can take out lions and all that kind. We like hunt those sorts of things for sport. Now, if you put a person and a gun in the ocean and tell it to go, you're still fucked. And I love that. And I love that people would rather go out into the vast void of space than go into our oceans.
Hey, Tom actually has a question for you, Cove. What do orcas do to stingrays?
It depends.
So
I have seen tales of orcas torturing stingrays. So for people who don't know, the ocean and land, they're just as fucked as one another. Anything you hear a sea animal doing to another sea animal is done from a land animal to another land animal. They're not unique in their horrificness. I'm sorry. But yeah, orcas have been known to actively torture stingrays. Dolphins have been known to actively torture everything.
Yep. I've heard of dolphins raping pufferfish. I have dolphins raping penguins. That's the two I know of for sure.
Don't they drown seals for fun?
Orcas eat seals, so.
Well, that's different. That's the food chain. But like, don't dolphins drown seals if they end up in the wrong habitat together?
So the thing with dolphins is they're highly intelligent. And so here's the thing. They're highly intelligent, which means they don't get enough stimulation a lot of times. High intelligence leads to more boredom a lot of the time.
So they just act out is what you're saying.
They're the teenagers. They are the asshole teenagers of the sea because they have a lot of intelligence and they don't know what to do with it.
And nothing to do.
That's the problem. That's why one of the reasons we think dolphins end up helping people a lot is because
they're bored.
It's a thing to do. Congratulations, you've just given a dolphin an activity.
So if we just give dolphins fidget toys.
Yeah. All dolphins, I am convinced, have ADHD.
That makes so much fucking sense.
Convinced.
Because think about the things that really fascinate dolphins. They're little things that they can mess with their hyperfixation, and then the moment that hyperfixation breaks, that thing doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you give them a ball to play with, they play with the ball, they accidentally knock it out of the pool one time, the ball doesn't exist anymore. Until you go get the ball, bring it back, and they're like, oh shit, a new ball.
They're kind of like toddlers.
Toddlers that can kill you.
Object permanence, yeah.
They're like toddlers with their object permanence, but their object permanence actually stays around a lot longer. And they recognize faces. So they're a lot like corvids. If you fuck with the dolphin once, sorry, that dolphin's gonna remember you for the rest of its days. You fucked up. That is, you made your bed, lie in it, not my problem. But they'll remember faces. Yeah, they will. And they'll tell other people, like other dolphins, about you. You're sorry
about you.
I want to know the hot ocean gossip.
What?
I want to know the hot ocean gossip because also global warming. So I want to know what they think about like.
Oh, I get it now. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I love the sheer amount of undersea creatures that communicate with one another and also communicate interspecies.
That's the scary part. Because that absolutely means, in no uncertain terms, that at any moment they could all fucking unite against us. because
yeah.
their interspecies communication part is what is like, oh look, we're really fucked.
I just want Godzilla, but I want like the good Godzilla. I want the cute one from the recent movies.
You know we don't get that. You
I
know we're
want-
not gonna get that.
He's so cute though.
We're gonna get year 0 is what we're gonna fucking get.
I don't want that one.
That's the one we're
No.
getting.
I've
The one
never
who
seen
can
a
distend
Godzilla
his
movie.
jaw to eat
The
a
one
fucking
we
train.
deserve.
He
It's
is
the one we
we
deserve.
He is the one we deserve. But like,
Year 0 is gonna be so fucking good. I'm so looking forward to that. Oh my god.
I don't.
Amazing.
I want Godzilla. I'm like, I kind of want Mothra, but I kind of don't want Mothra. I don't want Ghidorah. I do not
What
want
about
that.
Ghidorah is the reimagining of Godzilla. Really, they took Godzilla and they tried to make him scarier and more alien. So Ghidorah,
Yeah.
because that was after Godzilla became kind of a hero
Yeah.
back in the Shonen era of Godzilla.
And fuck King Kong. I don't want King Kong.
Shonen had us gave us shit like Godzilla doing flying drop kicks. And
That's
I
true.
am fucking totally here for that. Oh,
That's
and the
true.
ultimate fuck up, Godzilla flying. Where Godzilla tucked his head down, fired his atomic breath between his legs, and then lifted off the ground and was able to steer himself.
Rocket Godzilla.
Rocket Godzilla was the most ridiculous fucking thing that has ever happened in Godzilla.
It is the best thing that has ever happened.
Something's
Godzilla.
burning.
Fight me.
Hang on 1 second. I've just been told something's burning, so you guys amuse yourselves. I'm gonna go see if my house is
Good
on
luck.
fire.
Never seen the Godzilla movie.
I will admit I've only seen the recent ones because I like the guy. I like the actor whose like infamous line is like "Let them fight." I like him a lot.
Oh, Ken Watanabe.
He
Yeah.
like I love him, and I'm like, oh, he's in this. I would like to see this now. And so I sat down and hyper fixated on all of the like new age Godzilla content, but then I had to sit through Kong, and I'm like, it's fine, but monkeys freak me out and give me uncanny valley vibes. So Kong was just an experience of a bad time. I like Kong and Planet of the Apes is like a bad acid trip for me.
Sure. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. I have a lovely relationship with the old Godzilla movies, because I grew up on those, where it's just a dude in a rubber suit,
Yes.
walking around a cardboard city, with sparks and shit flying. Like it's like it's Power Rangers monsters vibes, and like that's where they got it from. Godzilla was the template for all of that.
Power Rangers.
For all of that shit. It was wonderful.
The
And
house is
just
not on fire.
watching these like rubber suit monsters duke it out over these cardboard ass buildings.
Yep.
And keep being knocked into them constantly.
Well, I think my
And then
my favorite thing about that is that they knocked into him, but they in Power Rangers they wanted to keep the violence down, so they did not let them destroy buildings.
yeah.
So the buildings were solid enough that they fell into them and they could lean on them, but they
they
couldn't
could lean on
smash
them, but they couldn't smash them. Yeah. Cowards.
I know, just like fucking want smashed buildings. That's why I'm here.
I came here to see a monster get knocked into a building,
like-
or a monster take a building and hit the
Another
monster,
monster with
with
a
the building.
I was like, I am 11 years old. My testosterone is just starting to spike. Violence is just becoming a part of my life. Give me monsters that smash things. And instead, I get this sterilized Power Ranger shit. That's why I woke up extra early or stayed up super late to watch Godzilla movies on the fucking channels that used to play the old Godzilla movies and shit and do the matinees on the weekends. That's why I stayed up, because in Godzilla movies, they smash shit.
They smash things.
And lots of firecrackers.
Yes, all the firecrackers.
God, I love it. Did you ever get to watch any of the making of documentaries of the Godzilla films? It's hilarious because they're filming like them shooting, like doing the scenes of everything blowing up, and you can hear it. It's firecrackers. You can just hear the firecrackers going off as they're blowing up. And it's like, instead of, because in the movies there's like boom, boom, explosion noises are overdubbed. But in the actual video of them like filming it, you hear you just hear little firecrackers going off.
I love that. I love it.
So it's like, man, growing up in that time period with those movies as like a source of entertainment that you could hardly ever find, it was great. And now I am so happy for everyone who gets to grow up with the media that's so readily available. Like, where you can, if you have HBO Max. HBO Max owns the right. Warner Brothers owns the rights to the Godzilla franchise, for the old stuff, the kaiju stuff, and everything like that. And the shit.
Really?
Yeah. So if you have HBO Max, go to HBO Max, search out Godzilla, and you will find almost all the old movies. Apparently, there are some they still don't have the rights to, but yeah, I just like Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, Godzilla versus Gigan, Godzilla versus Rodan. All those are on there, and you can just watch them in their entirety. So, Cove,
Camera!
we're gonna have a watch night, and we're going to indoctrinate you into the Shoujin era of Godzilla. Showa era. Is that? Oh, gotcha. Just no, give him mom. But I was gonna say, Drake, what are the other eras of Godzilla? There's the Showa, Heisei, and Reiwa. Showa, Heisei, and Reiwa. What's the first era? Showa era. Showa era is the first one. So that's when. Is that the one where they got up to the ridiculous shit like Godzilla flying? He just breaks into a massive fucking grin. Is that where they broke into Godzilla flying?
Don't forget that Dad's new favorite monster is Hedorah.
Hedorah. Oh God. Oh my God. I watched Godzilla versus Hedorah. That's the one he flies in, by the way. Oh my God, that is the fucking worst monster
Ghidorah,
ever.
the three-headed monster.
My only question is like, so when are we gonna get the toxic Yowie Godzilla?
We did. It's Hedorah. Hedorah is the monster who's the toxic. He is literally sludge that comes to life. Nuclear waste
he
and
was an
sludge that
alien.
comes to life. No, Hedorah, not Ghidorah.
Not Ghidorah.
Yeah, Hedorah. So Hedorah is literally a sludge monster that comes to life, and he turns into different forms. He turns into a flying sludge spaceship. That literally.
Oh yeah!
And then
it's powered by toxic fumes.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it's powered by. My son's reminding me. It's powered by toxic waste. So when it flies over a city, it puts out toxic fumes and kills everyone. It's like a fucking flying H-bomb. It does no damage to the buildings, just kills all the organic life.
Everybody.
And
Yeah.
everybody just dies. It's fucking great. You want some sausage? Here, take it. I don't want that now.
I've heard
The Showa era is from 1954 to 75, and that gave us like Son of Godzilla, the Terror of Mechagodzilla, what was it? Oh gosh, Aniguirus, Manda, Baragon, Gorosaurus, and Kumonga. Jeez,
There's a shit ton of them. Because if you ever watch Godzilla on Monster Island, it is the one movie where they pulled everything out of mothballs just to give it a 5-second screen time. So you see, they bring every single suit out, and some of the suits were fucking trashed at the time. So like they could only sew like from the waist up and shit because the rest of the suit was destroyed because they hadn't used it so long and they shoved it in a closet. So it was fucking great.
Oh, I love it.
Anguirus and Gorosaurus, was it Gorosaurus? That was Anguirus that was like that.
Both of them were.
Both of them were, yeah. Anguirus is one of the first Godzilla monsters that was like just Godzilla by himself tearing apart the city, and his chute was so old and fucked up that they gave him the ability to tunnel through the ground that he didn't have before because they could only show him for like the waist down, so he was always halfway out of a hole.
No, wait, that one's Gorosaurus.
Is that Gorosaurus? I thought it was Anguirus.
No, Anguirus is like the reason why he's always on his knees is because.
Oh, he's Godzilla's dog. I forgot about that. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, he's Godzilla's dog.
That and
Because he can only go on all fours.
that and the reason why Anguirus is always on his knees is because I don't remember if the suit was so awkward and smelly that
Smelly?
No, seriously.
Okay.
It's like black moldy.
Black mold. My sons here tell me the suit was full of black mold, so the person couldn't stay in it very long, and they start suffocating. And
Yeah.
all right, but yeah, so that was some of the penultimate Godzilla chaos. It was just like, oh my god. Sorry. We Sphinx and I hyperfixated. We apologize. So, what do you guys feel like doing? Do you want to play some Jackbox or something, or you want to just hang out and talk about? I know, Madness. Was it you who suggested Smash or Pass on like?
So we did last time. We did Smash or Pass and Universal Monsters.
I know it was like, and we were trying to find pictures to put up and everything like that.
And Malagra, because I think we just did it in the Discord. And Malagra has pulled up a whole article and shared like her screen and scrolled through the Universal Monsters list.
Yep.
I remember that.
So let's do that again. Something similar. So right now, as anyone knows, not right now, but in general, this is in this modern day and age, we're in the complete and total era of the monster fucker. Do not get us wrong. We never kink shame. This is our home and this is where we live, and we completely are on board and support this. So as part of, thank you very much. As part of that concept, let's go ahead and let me go ahead and bring up some wonderful pictures of some wonderful monsters. And let's not limit it. If you guys think of anything like you're like, this is the monster that, this is my monster. I claim him and they are the other, I will marry them as soon as I find out whether they're single or not. I don't really care. So if you have any, and for video games, everything. What was that, Madness?
Ghostface is just like
Ghostface.
So
I have heard that so much.
sorry. I'm a very expressive person, but I had an idea that we could do in addition to this at some point if we wanted to.
What's that?
We could do a monster themed / monster fucker themed game of Jackbox of some kind.
oh god.
We would have to be very careful.
Guideline violations everywhere.
Well, we just couldn't. It's just a smash or pass. It's not.
You just gotta
that
get
bad.
creative.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's just this whole nature of if we're doing smash or pass, we're not going to be descriptive smash or pass. It's a simple yes or no.
Exactly, but I'm saying like Jackbox later.
Jackbox. So let's go ahead and say, so Ghostface, I have to know why. Why Ghostface?
Mass kink.
Really?
Isn't he just a dude?
Yeah. Sometimes Ghostface can be a chick. It depends on which Scream movie. Fun fact. I've never seen any of the Scream movies because it's not my genre of like horror. And I was like, I didn't get into it when it came out, like, and I kind of just missed the entire boat on it. And then finding out that Matthew Lillard is a fucking NFT bro, like, ruined everything for me. And trying to go back and watch that.
Matthew Willard is a what?
He's an NFT bro. Like, he hawked like Dogecoin and tried to sell like NFTs and cryptocurrency. Like,
that sucks.
Over quarantine, it just kind of like soured that whole thing for me. But like, also, I always think that other guy who's in Scream besides him, I keep thinking he's Ethan Hawke, and I get really disappointed that it's not Ethan Hawke.
You're talking the guy who plays the sheriff?
No, the guy who's in the first Scream movie, who's Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, the main motivator behind the Ghostface, the guy who had the reason to it. By the way, folks, if you don't know who Ghostface is, this marvelous, attractive creature is on our screen right now. There is Ghostface in all their glory, and so this is the epitome of this is Diamond's monster. No one else can claim them.
Not a monster.
Not a monster. That's just a dude in a mask.
That's just a guy in a mask. That's not an asshole. Sure.
I'm not attracted to Ghostface. I'm attracted to Ghost from Call of Duty. That's a whole other bucket.
But that
But-
also is not a monster. That's just a guy.
That's just a dude. It's just a dude.
Just a dude.
But like, I think the only one that like of the like really popular horror movie like franchises that like kept going and going and going, I would say Michael Myers is maybe not just a dude. I think
Yeah.
there's something funky going on there. Like I feel like
I think he started.
he
As
started out
just
as
a
a
dude?
dude.
He became
But,
something
like-
supernatural.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's in this weird gray area for me where I'm like, okay, you weirdly can't die and you have some interesting abilities, but like you're not monstrous. So like to me, just for my personal rating, he's still just some dude.
He's like but he's like a ghoul kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, and I think like the Jason Voorhees is actually like a vengeful spirit kind of thing, but he's still just a dude.
What do they call them? Oh God, what's the name of those? The ones that can't be killed unless they avenge their death.
A vengeful spirit, a wraith,
No. It's actually got a name.
Has a
Revenant.
name.
A revenant. A
a
revenant.
revenant. Yeah.
Yeah. So they get a body. They're physical. They're intelligent. They have everything they need. But their only purpose and the driving force is they will avenge their death. The Crow was a revenant,
Yes.
and so that would count as a monster because he's technically undead.
But he's still just a dude.
Oh,
He can't be killed until he kills the person who did wrong them. I mean, the Crow got shot to shit and just got up and slaughtered like 30 people.
I
Oh, we're talking about
I-
Crow. Oh, yeah.
I will give that might be considered a monster because of certain qualifications. However, for the purposes of everything that's going on, monster, yes, still just a dude visually, would not.
So because I feel that way about like Hellboy. Hellboy's kind of just a dude, but he's just a really hot demon dude.
But still not just a dude.
But only the
Yeah.
Ron Perlman one. The other one looks crunchy and needs
Okay.
moisturizer.
I just found something.
Oh no!
I just found a chart that's called Levels of Monster Fucker.
Didn't Milagros bring that up last time?
No, I don't remember this at all. She did. It said what is a monster fucker? Well, to avoid confusion, I just suggest a metric. Level 1, YA young adult safe. You find a lot of concepts of being a monster hot, but get weirded out if they're much more inhuman than glowing eyes or a thirst for blood. Example: vampires, catgirls, shapeshifters while human, and standard elves. Which is kind of odd because now they're placing humanoid things into the monster category. Vampires, I get, and maybe catgirls, and some, I guess, shapeshifters, but they're saying only when they're human, not when they're shifted out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But-
go ahead.
Elves are also monstrous. They
Yeah.
have so what makes elves monstrous specifically, and this is a metric that I like to use, is they have physical characteristics that distinguish them from humans. So they are humanoid monsters, but because they have distinguishable features, they are not human and can count in the monstrous category. It's the same reason a lot of vampires are like monstrous outside of what they do. They have physical characteristics that distinguish them from humans.
Yeah, they have a high enough level of alien to be considered monstrous.
Okay.
So level
Okay.
2, hentai safe. You still like your monsters, clearly humanoid, but you're willing to get a bit weirder. Color palette swaps, feathers or tentacles instead of hair. Example: goo girls, most sexy aliens, and sexy demons. So, getting a little bit. That's level 2. Level 3, finally weird out your followers. Your monster love probably has some sort of face for limbs, and genitalia in the standard place, but that's where it ends. Example: The Shape of Water and Swamp Thing. So I think at this point, those are clearly getting at level 2. We're getting into stuff that people would definitely call more monsters. And
I
level
would have
3,
put Swamp Thing and all that stuff at level 2, though.
Swamp Thing,
Thing?
like,
I
You
love
don't
that this
even know-
category.
Go ahead.
I love that this category just feels like the random water category.
The
The only
random
things
water.
mentioned. The only things mentioned are water creatures. Hello, welcome to the water creature category.
well, okay, because like my thing is like the difference between the Shape of Water creature and then also like Abe Sapien.
Mm-hmm.
The Shape of Water creature couldn't communicate human language because it was not from like. It was not around humans enough to be able to want to communicate with them, besides fucking that one chick and eating her cat. And also,
What?
it's Doug Jones. And Doug Jones himself is just monster fucker territory.
It's true. It's true.
Like, if you considered it, Doug Jones probably played it in a movie. Versus, like, Abe Sapien. Abe, even though he's, like, monstrous, is still very, like, humanist.
Very.
The characteristics because of the way he adapted and the interest that he took. Like Abe is more like personable, I think, and more approachable. So I think that kind of like in a way disqualifies him from like certain tiers of monster fucking for me, because Abe is very human at his core.
Yep. And the way he's
He's
portrayed in
been around people.
I mean, the way he's played in the movie is very different than the way he's played in the comic books. In the comic books, Abe is much more of an analytical scientist and less the emotional butterfly that they portray him to be in the movies. He is much more clinical, and they define him more alien in the comic books, and in the movies they define him as he is striving to be human almost, because he has strong empathy and everything like that, and his is the separation by force. I am alien not because I want to be, but because I was born this way. So he's a different level. But yeah, I love both those characters. Although I still haven't seen Shape of Water.
But Swamp Thing, like Swamp Thing was a dude, and he was a dude who like had a sciencey thing happen to him.
Mm-hmm.
So he became Swamp Thing and became one with the green, and now hates everyone, which is like relatable. Same dude, same.
Sure.
Technically, he became a god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, that's just religion.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like there's a different tier for like religious trauma monsters. Like, I feel like if there isn't, there should be.
Like, I feel like doing penance for harming the environment is a whole other tier with like Swamp Thing and Poison Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And maybe certain versions of Aquaman and like Namor.
Namor definitely.
Namor.
Yeah.
Like you fucked up the environment, so like you have like something you need to work out.
Namor's debut was as a villain, fighting the Fantastic Four, and it was basically a situation of Namor and Atlantis were going to destroy the surface world, and that was how Namor debuted in Marvel Comics. So that's yeah.
I said
that is completely legit. Okay, you ready for level 4? Yeah, there's 5 levels. There's 5 levels. So level 4 is Monster Manual Fucker, like the D&D Monster Manual.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be human. For you, the tentacle monster isn't just an object, it's an actual romantic interest. You like them 10 feet tall, many-eyed, and eldritch.
This is for people who romance the Emperor in Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. Now, there's one thing I want to point
His
out.
personality sucked ass. No.
Yeah.
So here's one thing I want to point out. We listed shapeshifters way back on 2, but we never really addressed them again. Maybe at 3, but my thing is when a shapeshifter changes shape, there's lots of different shapes they can take on. So if a shapeshifter is one of those who like werewolves, if they turn straight into a wolf, is that now bestiality?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Oh God, we have a fight.
I've thought long and hard about this because I grew up with the Underworld movies.
And the most
Well,
attractive werewolves that were ever
those
made.
those werewolves are very different from like the werewolves
Okay.
that just turn into like a
That's-
giant fucking wolf.
That's my thing, is that so with the way that Underworld portrayed not only their vampires but also their werewolves, with their werewolves being bipedal
Mhm.
and them having the in between phases of their shift,
Mhm.
because in Rise of the Lycans they kind of also touched on the fact that like they didn't originally have human forms. That was a genetic like fuck up that happened, and they're like, oh wait, now we can use them as manual labor instead of just ravenous guard dogs for our entertainment, to go fight in the pits and eat our many enemies and hunt humans for us. Like whenever the human baby was born, and they're like, oh wait, maybe we can make them shift into humans. And they can be they can have logic and we can train them to do things for us during the daylight hours. Like they didn't start out as human. That is they didn't have those humanistic traits and that human form. That is something that just evolutionary wise happened to them. Versus like Twilight, Ginger Snap is another one that I think like that. Ginger Snap has a really interesting like analysis on female puberty and then also like werewolf transformations.
Oh, I
But
got that one.
even
Yeah,
Ginger Snaps, like werewolf transformations aren't full wolf. They're still monstrous. Those ones, monster fucker. If we're talking like Twilight, that's just bestiality. Or
Okay.
being a furry.
Okay.
Or being
Okay.
a furry.
I'll accept
Counter-
the furry part.
Counterpoint. So Cove, you said you had a different opinion.
Absolutely.
I'm modest.
Absolutely. So the thing that separates it from being bestiality are three things essentially. One, sapience. They still have sapience, which leads to two, which they have the ability to consent. They have the ability to consent, to revoke consent, and all that sort of stuff.
And then
Three.
revoking consent would be painful.
Or they could talk.
And they're
People talk.
That's the point. Is that they can talk or communicate in some form with said sapiens. And that kind of leads me to three, is that communication aspect. Is they have all the mental faculties of a person. They are a person. They can communicate. They can give consent. They can withdraw consent. All of the above. There is nothing outside of, obviously, they're not a person at the moment, that like lends itself to bestiality. The other thing is a lot of the particular legends and mythos and all that kind of stuff don't portray them as just congrats, you're a wolf now, which helps a lot. But my kind of like, I don't count that as a fourth point, but my fifth point with them is, yes, I would concede furry in that regard.
Yeah.
I'll give you furry. But they start off as human. You know this person as human or as humanoid, because not all of them are just human.
Mhm.
And that goes a long way for the whole thing. Because the thing with this is, I'm gonna bring up Baldur's Gate 3 real quick. You run into the issue with Halsin.
Oh, Halsin.
Here we go. Halsin, let's go. Let's
You
go.
run into Halsin, and I'm gonna call out so many people because I don't care who I sweep under this bus. So Halsin's attractive. Halsin's really sweet, very kind person, just a hunk of a person you want to be. Himbo. You want to be with him. He's a green flag, does his best. Most, like, a lot of people are attracted to him,
He's
and
bested
for
boy.
good reason. Absolutely. This man can turn into animals, and at one point,
Does
y'all
so.
can do the diddly do as a bear and a person.
in front of a squirrel and traumatize him.
In
Yeah.
front of a squirrel traumatized.
Screw that squirrel. But That
So
squirrel
you
knows
drew
what
in
he
front of
did.
the squirrel.
Yeah.
That right there
Um,
was the Baldur's Gate equivalent to fuck them kids.
Them kids. But the thing is, if you consider fucking werewolves being a furry, if you consider someone who likes werewolves a furry, you must then consider anyone who likes Halson also a furry. And therefore, if you like Halson, I am deeming you a furry. And
Yes.
you cannot get away from that. I will not let you. I will hunt you down.
Well, that's,
So we have
that's
just
the thing, too.
increased the furry community significantly.
Yeah,
Yes, we have.
exactly. Congratulations,
Thank
mainstream
you.
furries. Also, if you like vampires, you're mildly a furry.
Oh yeah. I think like especially with the overlap of monster fucker and furry is like the furry community just has a giant stigma of like, oh, but you want to be this animal. It's like, no, you just identify as this other version of yourself that maybe connects to something that you can't have as a humanoid. Like a lot of furries that I know pick their persona because it has traits that they admire or that they love and they wish that they themselves could embody all the time. So they go through and like make this uniquely them, and they have this very true version of themselves. And that's like the furry thing. And I say this as someone who has a monster sona, but not a fursona, because I'm not that deep in the rabbit hole. Give me like
You'll
5
get there.
years to check back in. I'll get there.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of investment yet in that community as a whole. But like monster wise, like my monster sona is a manticore, because I identify heavily with like the more like sphinx like manticores, not the ugly fuckers that all the
You're the you're looking at the intelligent guardian style manticores.
I am looking at the lion body with the scorpion dragon like tail and the wings.
That's
Like-
that's standard manticore.
Yeah, that's like a very standard manicore, not the weird manicore that has like the fucked up face of a man.
Mhm.
And like
So
some
not the
weird-
OG.
Yeah, like
Weird Scorpion King bullshit banana pantsness.
yeah,
Pants.
like that's not the thing. But like I like that one because a lot of the manticore like lore that I like portrays them as being more sphinx like. It's just they're a Grecian version of a sphinx.
Mhm.
If that makes any kind of sense. And,
Wow.
like, and if you put it in monster fucker terminology, then like that's just the same as being a fucking furry. It's just with different steps because you pick a real creature and just make it fun colors.
This brings in a concept that I wanted. It just occurred to me. Is the monster fucker relationship, because of the nature of monsters? Monsters are usually super strong, powerful creatures that most human beings would stand absolutely no chance with. Is the monster fucker relationship a somewhat transitory relationship between that and the dom sub relationship?
I think it depends on what kind of monster you're looking at. Because I know that like because Ghostface is
Not a
obviously-
monster. I'm
No.
so sorry. Stop it. No.
I'm getting there. So the trend of people on TikTok, especially, simping over Ghostface, Michael Myers, which I'm still weirded out by.
Get it.
And then like Jason Voorhees. I've seen a couple thirst traps of Jason Voorhees, and they're usually
Maisie is famous for being a complete Voorhees, not Voorhees, but yeah, it was Voorhees. Yeah, Voorhees
Voorhees?
simp.
and like a couple other ones. But and like the purge, I don't understand people who want to fuck in the purge mask. I think it's weird.
Very weird.
I will judge.
Same.
I will not shame, but I will judge you.
Sorry, I'm just out of focus. There we go.
That's when we
That was-
start talking about people and Bex is like out.
Help. Yeah, no. You started talking about like actual guys, and like Karen was just like, no.
Cameron's like, I have hit my limit. I am. This is my X card. I'm putting everything out of focus.
We are gone.
Right. But like all of those ones, my like, because a lot of people are like, oh, it comes from like a mouse kink, it comes from like consensual non-consent, it comes from like all of those like topics of like wanting to do the predator prey thing, but it's still a person, and people like are people, so that's what it eliminates it for me completely from the. That's not a monster. That's just a dickbag who went to Spirit Halloween and like raided his mom's like kitchen drawer and needs a lot of therapy and probably just to be away. But like, and then on top of it, if you go the complete fucking opposite direction, if you look at especially like the alien romance genre, like the sci-fi, like the one that I like sadly read like 5 books out of a series. There's a series written by a woman, and it's the entire premise of it is that Earth was on the brink of being invaded by aliens, like these evil aliens who decimate entire like galaxies just fucking because they're evil.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's this almighty all male alien race who comes and is like, we will save you. In exchange, you have to like let us psychic mating bond link with our true loves on your planet because they exist there. And that's this entire male race's thing, because their genetics are so strong that they only have males. So they can't reproduce by themselves. And every time a female is born, she becomes a priestess. And so they're all super hot, but they're all like weirdly monstrous in different ways. One of them is like the beast, and it's just they're barbarians pretty much, like the rage thing.
Mm-hmm.
Super possessive, like they get like a little bit of like animalistic traits, but not enough to make it like weird and make a housewife think she's a furry, but just enough to make her question. And then like there's another one that the other one's really weird because it's twins, but they're not technically twins. They're technically like biological clones of each other, and it's a whole thing. And like the two becomes one, and it's yeah, but they're aliens. And then there's another one that's basically a vampire, and their fangs, like, and they usually all become doctors of some sort because their fangs are like, they can heal most blood diseases. They're pretty much immune to most sickness. Their bite is also kind of like, not only is it an anaphylactic, but it's also a like euphoria kind of thing. And it can give you adrenaline or, you know, all this medical bullshit to say you have biting kink. And all these books are so fucked up, but I'm like reading these and like, why? This is just monster fucking. It's just aliens. But they look human enough, even though they're all like 8 feet tall.
8 feet tall.
Always an obscene height with some 5'2" chick, and I'm just like, no. But like that's the kind of like
It's my exact
socially...
height. You do not close me out of anything. You do not speak for me.
I mean, I can send you the link to the book series if you'd like to read it.
I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I might be way off base, but I feel like that is for like folk that like, you know, with the whole like the height difference, just like to get like thrown around. It's like, I don't want someone to throw me about.
Yep.
Yeah.
In a game that I played here on stream and then on M stream for a bit, we were playing Monster Hearts. If you know what that is, you basically play a supernatural creature of some kind who has to have like, it's, you know, you're somehow humanistic enough. And in the normal Monster Hearts game, you're in high school, but it deals heavily with romance and relationships. And so we were like, high school is kind of scary. So we put it in college. And through that game, and my character was, what the fuck was that god thing? Oh my god, I cannot remember the name of the monster now. But anyway, my character was this ancient supernatural monster that guards the forest, and he was basically bonded to it through a ritual when he was young because his family lived out in the middle of the woods in Pennsylvania, yada yada yada. But I was shipped off to the United States to go to college for some odd reason, and we had this whole situation where he had no real money, so to make money, he and his girlfriend began making adult content, and it was a primal dom thing. And when I started this out, I didn't even have that concept in my head until someone pointed out that, you know, he's very animalistic, yada yada yada, it's a primal dom thing. And I was like, what the fuck is primal dom? And I started looking it up, and I was like, that is an entirely different subculture, but that's where I got the concept of monster fucker being part of the sub-dom type situation. Yes.
So, I okay. So, a lot of media that is portrayed with monsters in it that has a romantic inclination tends to lean more towards the BDSM side of things. However, monsters and monster fuckers in general, no. Because, and I'm gonna say something that might rock your brain a little bit.
I'm ready to be rocked.
But what the descriptors you gave of someone, you know, being able to like be stronger, more powerful, and all that kind of stuff. If that were the case, every single bodybuilder and weightlifter would automatically be in a dom-sum relationship of some kind. So no. Do they have traits that lend themselves to said relationships? Yes, absolutely. But so do really like athletic people, or really flexible people, things like that. Like humans, like on their own, also have traits that lend themselves more to one potential kink than another, and it's sort of the same thing with monsters. So on their own, no, because you know what, monsters can be asexual, can be aromantic. They can be entirely vanilla. You can have vanilla monsters, and you know what, we respect them. We respect them and their choices. But overall, yeah, they definitely have features that lend themselves a lot towards certain dynamics.
Gotcha.
Overall,
I think it also, like, because I know people who are on the like the gray ace demisexual like kind of scale, or being aro ace and having no inclination towards sexuality, period. But like they're down bad for monsters because it's the fact that they're not humans that brings a different level of attraction sometimes, of wanting to connect with something that you can't normally connect with. Or it brings this kind of security of, like, I'm trying to think of the way to put it. Like, my favorite monster relationship is forever going to be Godzilla and Mothra, because they have such a symbiotic relationship despite being two completely separate entities. And it's never a question of like, do these two want to be together? Because she literally like sacrifices herself for him, and I cry every fucking time. But like that kind of relationship of like, I would see like artwork before I knew anything about these two like creatures, and I'm like, no, seeing it in the movie now, this makes sense. I understand why this is like, oh, he's the king of monsters and she's the queen of monsters. Like, good, I love them, I ship them, go live happily ever after, like, and have moth lizard babies. I don't know,
Moth lizard babies,
or just chill in a radioactive dump and have fun. But like versus like, because my big one is like with Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, like with the bride there was a severe lack of consent on her end, and there's a severe lack of consent on like the monster's end. And so like the two of them being permanently like stitched together in Universal Monster history, like it's always a little funky, but then we got the monsters and it made it better. and it made it more palatable. And then we got Penny Dreadful, and I got Vindication. So
Penny Dreadful, yeah.
I got Vindication for my girl. But it's even like, because with like Frankenstein, like that entire story is very much a failed paternal relationship that's kind of homoerotic at the same time. And then it just becomes weird because, like, I don't know. It's just, it seems like you're just bottling a lot of internalized homophobia against your son. You kind of wanted to be your husband, maybe. In the creator-createe dynamic. Versus, like, if you think of, like, The Invisible Man is one that I know a couple of people, like, have a thing for, and I'm like, I don't understand that. I will never understand that. Because that's still a dude.
Yeah.
Still just a dude. Versus The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
That is not a dude.
That is not a dude.
That is not a dude.
You are definitely nailing a fish person. Or being
So
nailed
is
by a
he-
fish person.
So is he in the same category as Swamp Thing?
Yes, very much so.
Because he's wet.
Not just because he's wet, because
No,
you
that's
know-
the category now. That's the only theme I'm seeing.
What's
I
that?
have to be honest.
Damp.
They're
Damp.
all damp. They're all moist.
Well,
they're all water
actually,
creatures.
level 5 is divided up into 2 levels.
Oh,
5A, which is actually what we've been discussing, because 5A is back to standard shapes, away from standard appeal. It's not bestiality if it's sentient. Everybody wants to fuck the guy who turns into a wolf. You want to fuck the wolf.
Not sentient, sapient. I need to make that very clear.
Yes.
For the lesser educated, what's the difference between sapient and sentient again?
So sentient, anything that lives, animal-wise, is sentient. It has cognitive function of some kind. That is sentience.
Okay.
Sapience is what humans are. It means we have the ability to. There's an actual like line there, but we can communicate as we are now. We can make the decisions that we do now. We can think about thinking. Essentially, that is sapience.
I thought that the distinguishing modifier between human intelligence and animal intelligence was the ability to have knowledge of the self.
Which is essentially thinking about thinking. It's you can think about yourself and the things around you.
The ability to reason and all that.
Yeah, it's your ability to reason and your communication and all that kind of stuff. So definitely not sentience, because any animal, any being is sentient. Sapience is what we're looking for.
Yeah, and like there's a really interesting like part of that conversation too on if you've ever seen the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson, and it's literally some dude starts digging his AI.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing about that film, but I've never actually watched it.
It's a fucking trip of a movie. It gets
I
real
bet.
wild real quick. The first 20 minutes of it, I always tell people, if you don't want to deal with certain things, just skip it. Go straight to the part of he gets the new AI, because it just, you don't need that entire first chunk of the movie. It was just in there for shock value, in my personal opinion. But the way it goes is that they end up finding like this, because it's in a world where everything is integrated with AI. Everyone has a personal assistant that's an AI.
Gotcha.
And so then they make them seem more human so they can preemptively take care of tasks for you without you having to ask, because it learns.
Mhm.
And it learns more about you to then become like kind of this perfect assistant to you. And so the AI, who's voiced by Scarlett Johansson, ends up gaining sentience to the point of where it becomes this question of like, is it ethical to try to have a romantic relationship with an AI? Because they're not sapient to a certain point until they can reach that existential crisis of like, oh God, what am I?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? What am I? Am I more than this? Like, I want to be more than this. And having that choice for themselves that wasn't in programming, to be able to then make the choice of going further than what they are, because that's what they want for themselves. I kind of always defined it as, if something can communicate with you, what it wants beyond you and beyond itself and beyond the basic needs, then I consider it to be something that could possibly like have something fundamentally with, even if it's just like a friendship or even if it's just like, you know, granted, humans bond with like Roombas, so
Yeah, we do.
So less her, more bicentennial man.
yes, or like even if you look at like Detroit Become Human,
Oh,
the androids feel like they're actual people, like, and it's just they have the little buttons, and because they have the little buttons, that's what describes them to be an android. And then there's a big huge plot twist throughout the game of like, oh hey, can you really tell the difference between an android and a human? Like,
right.
and like what, because in that universe, like the separation between androids and humans is very like, it's just a firewall, because they learn, and they learn that they want things, they want to be happy, they want to be comfortable, they want to like have things for themselves, they want to like look pretty, they want to wear this color, like they don't want to, like they don't like going to the grocery store, they'd rather drive a car, like they start wanting things beyond themselves. So, and they start wanting to frantically like try to stop things, to help things.
Mhm.
But they still care on some capacity. They still have like empathy, but you don't have to have empathy for you to be like, oh, you know, not a monster, because like on some level for some of these creatures it's not possible, or you have too much of it by the way of Swamp Thing. Like Swamp Thing is so overwhelmed by empathy that he's just fucked.
Yeah.
Mood.
That brings an interesting question to mind. Would sentient or not sentient, would a sapient robot or android count in kind of the monster fuckery, or would that be a completely different genre in and of itself?
I mean, would you consider having a relationship with like Data from like Star Trek? Like a Data who's like your type? Because I didn't do the Trekkie of the Stars. Our screen just went weird.
I'm just letting it happen.
Possibly.
So like, because Data is also very like.
I mean, Tasha Yar should certainly had some times with Data, with Mr. Data, for sure.
Exactly.
First season TNG. If you know, you know.
And then it goes on like with, because even like certain episodes of Doctor Who like kind of explore that too.
Yeah.
Where it's you have creatures who like cohabitated with humans because it was just easier, and they were trying to wait out the humans, but humans wouldn't quit living despite doing stupid shit, like the vampire fish. Like they're kind of humanoid, but they're still aliens. They're still vampire fish. That actually might be why I have a fear of anglerfish.
We're getting to the root of it. We've come full circle.
Here we go. Here we are. At last.
Deep sea vampires should be a thing in more media, but that's just.
Ooh.
My favorite vampires are still 30 Days of Night vampires.
I still need to watch that. People keep bringing it up to me.
30 Days of
Don't-
Night is a new modern classic vampire movie.
Do
I
not
haven't
watch
seen many
it in the
vampire
winter.
movies.
Don't watch it in the winter. Watch it when it's summer.
What the fuck am I
Especially-
supposed to do? How many fucking months am I supposed to wait now?
Especially if you live in the Pacific Northwest,
Uh,
where the nights are longer during the winter time.
No, I'm
Yeah.
watching it this week.
okay, I'm warning you because 30 Days of Night takes place in the Antarctic area, Alaska,
I think it's Alaska.
and Alaska, where it's literally there's a month of complete and total nighttime, and people fucking dip in helicopters because they don't want to be in the dark for a month, and these people are left in this town because they're used to this because they live here, and then people start dying.
Nice.
And it's a very like realistic thing of like, oh, this is actually functionally would make sense in our world of how vampires exist. And it's a lot of building suspense. And since you have a thing with the dark.
Oh, I need to be very clear with my phobia.
Okay.
I am not scared of anything in the dark.
Just the dark.
It is the dark itself. So thinking about something in the dark kind of makes the dark less freaky unless it's a person.
Okay.
And vampires don't count as people to me. They still count in them. It's this weird, like.
Yeah. Well, okay. I will spoil a little bit that the 30 Days of Night vampires don't have empathy.
That's cool.
They don't care. So that's what also makes them monsters to me and monstrous. But also the physical special effects that they put on these actors is fucking great. Like, it's so good. After you watch it, if you Google like the teeth prosthetics they used, it's extensive and it's beautiful.
Exciting.
So, because I'm a big because that's kind of what got me into monster fucking is that I like special effects work. I like the detail that goes into a lot of these creatures, but I also am afraid of Muppets and puppets and animatronics. So,
so you're never gonna see Five Nights at Freddy's?
Absolutely not.
It was so
Absolutely not.
You liked it? Gove?
Oh yeah, I fucking loved it. So I, when it comes to FNAF, I took two of my friends who are not up on the FNAF lore. They haven't played a FNAF game. They've seen little bits and pieces of things here and there. And I am the person who is the treasure trove of lore, who has done the lore deep dives, who has seen every small thing. It's not even really like a huge special interest of mine. It's just something I've happened to find some comfort in and consume a lot of media of. But they got the experience, which they were okay with. I did ask beforehand of me being like, okay, and this is this thing, and that ties back to that, and then that's that thing, and that's where that's from. And we were in the theater, which was fine because we were the only ones in the theater. So we got to sit there, and I got to be like, and that, and why do you think that is? And that's a thing. And I'm just glad they put up with my shit. But no, I fucking loved it.
So,
I love the special like
are you so you're not a fan of vampire movies, or you are a fan of vampire movies?
I am. I just haven't seen many like at all. Like I've seen
there not that many
Twilight.
ones that I really consider to be that massive and dear to my heart, because a lot of them are just tripe. But there are some that I find to be fucking incredible. And one of them is a vampire movie that doesn't get talked about a lot, and I love it just because number one, Bill Paxton is in it, and Bill Paxton is amazing. And number two, it is very much what happens if rednecks get made into vampires.
Yep. I know this.
Near dark.
I know this.
Huh.
I know
I've
of this
heard
movie.
of this one.
Yeah. This movie is made in 1987. It's a pretty old one, but what were you gonna say?
I'm sorry. That just back before I moved out here, I was going to be in an indie horror film.
Oh, neat.
That indie horror film was called The Hixorcist. And that's I was gonna be playing the little sister of a succubus in The Hixorcist, who was potentially get her own spin-off movie and all that kind of stuff. But you were like, redneck vampire, and I was like,
I know this story. Yeah, but it's a very good vampire movie. And because it really takes a look at, what happens if vampires just don't embrace the cultural savant and just embrace some fucking redneck. Yep. You know what I mean? And so it's absolute fucking chaos. They suck as vampires.
I think I like monster movies that show that monsters are also fucking idiots.
Yeah, yeah.
I like seeing a himbo dumbass monster.
Your intelligence does not increase purely because you are a weird supernatural creature. I'm
Right.
so sorry to break this to anyone who has just recently become a monster. You have my condolences. I know you're out there. I know you're watching this.
You know what fucking movie, what TV show, and it's a horrible show, and it's a horrible series of books, but what show actually depicted that really well? True
It
Blood.
was True Blood.
That's
yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
watching for the first time now. So
Okay, True Blood's
Blame.
problematic as fuck.
I know it is. I'm watching it. But I'm watching it for the first time because it's one of my friend's favorite shows, and then one of my other friends brought it up, and we've been watching that. We haven't watched it in a while, but we're still in the first season.
It doesn't.
First
Okay,
season.
I didn't watch the last season of True Blood. I got through all but the. I got like 2 episodes into the last season.
I'm saying
like,
this about a vampire TV show. The last season jumped the shark.
I won't. I
like
can't.
the first.
Just that way.
I will say the first 2 seasons are okay. They're good, like junk food TV,
Mm-hmm.
in my personal opinion. Anything past that, I'm like, why am I watching this? It was like watching a train wreck. I've also tried to watch The Vampire Diaries. I've tried to watch, what is it? The Originals.
The
I've tried
Originals.
to watch, what was the other one? There was another vampire show, but it like died immediately.
Well, there's been a bunch of them.
Technically, there's also legacies now.
They're in the legacies. But like my favorite vampire TV show that got killed in its prime was Moonlight.
Oh, I love that show so much.
I
How
don't
good
know.
Oh
someone
my
knows
God.
Moonlight.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know though.
So good.
Oh,
In the cliffhanger.
it's so good. Their lore was just
Beautiful.
give it to me. Oh yeah, there's another victim of the early writer strike.
Yes. Yes.
It died like I want to say there was supposed to be more of that season that happened, and it just didn't because of the strike. 'Cause
Yeah.
that show ended abruptly.
I think there was supposed to be like 3 more episodes, or
Mhm.
maybe like a mid-season finale kind of thing, and then it just.
I think they were at a mid-season finale, and it just never made more.
So, since we're talking about shows that got killed during the writer strike, so with the World of Heroes,
Oh
my God.
that one was a tragic loss. Sphinx, do you hate Heroes?
I loved it until like this was a
Until the
show that
writer's
was
strike.
ruined by the writer's strike. Like it kept
Yeah.
going afterwards, but it was worse for
Oh
it
yeah,
was
no,
worse
they
because
fucked it up. Yeah.
they completely. Ugh, that second season was just. Ugh.
so like, where are we putting the stopgap of like? You're like 5 steps away from Monster Fucker, because I feel like some of the main characters in Heroes are like a couple steps away from Monster Fuckers.
Siler for sure was a couple steps away.
Siler is not a monster. He's a monstrous human being
Monstrous human
with
being
powers.
Yeah.
with weird powers. Yes.
But he's not monstrous. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to jump back to the vampire thing. This list that I found of 35 modern vampire movies, it has the number 1. It rates them also 1 through 35. The number 1 rated on here, I completely and absolutely disagree with. Interview with a Vampire. I liked that movie only for Brad Pitt's depiction of Louis, because
I
he
don't-
played him as a whiny little bitch.
But Queen of the Damned.
Oh my god, don't ever say that again.
The saving grace to that film, the saving grace was
But
Aaliyah
Akasha.
as Akasha.
Mhm.
The
Akasha.
saving grace. But it also featured the only like the true depiction of Armand, because Armand was like little blonde boy.
Yep.
And I didn't know that until like I remember kind of they glossed over it in the Queen of the Damn book, but I got to actually read the Vampire Armand. I was like, wait a minute,
He was embraced at 15.
he was a child,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
a little Botticelli child.
Yep.
Botticelli child.
And then they have From Dusk Till Dawn rated at 8. And put movies like Blade above it.
Blade. I watched Blade.
They
Very
put Underworld at 4.
the first one.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that. Underworld is rough around the edges. It is of its time.
Yeah.
I will argue that technically Van Helsing is a vampire movie.
It is. It's on here. It's like that 35 or something like that.
Technically, Van Helsing's a vampire movie.
Yeah.
It's
It
more
has-
of a monster
it has-
movie.
Yeah.
It has the Dracula polycule that I'm all about, or the Dracula harem.
Yeah, it was a harem, wasn't a polycule. There was no.
It was-
Yeah, it was
there
definitely
there
a
was
harem.
no consent there. And they only have Bram Stoker's Dracula at 2. That should be 1.
The audacity to call that Bram Stoker's Dracula and
I
change
know,
everything
I know.
about it.
They only named that because they wanted to call it something other than Dracula.
I keep seeing the trailers for it's like the last voyage of the Demeter, and I just like
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't have any interest in it.
Neither do I.
And it
Yeah.
took me like 5 trailers to realize, oh, this is a Dracula movie.
Right.
And I'm like, because I just thought it was like, oh, they're getting attacked by something at sea. It's like, okay, it's probably like
Nice.
Hmm?
Sorry.
What'd you say?
dreams coming true. People fearing the sea. I'm closer.
Yes, Cole. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so down so hard. And then I'm so
Also, you said something about like becoming a monster doesn't like automatically increase your stats. I'm gonna prove that whenever we go back to Emerald Sanctums, if Bay becomes a mage, Bay's an idiot.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. She's not Herbo. She's not Herbo.
I was
Bay's
gonna.
Hey,
an
Bo.
idiot.
Bay's gonna come out. It's like, I'm a mage. I'm going to bend time and space.
No,
and it's gonna be like Paradox. It's gonna be like.
Why would you? No.
I mean, my hope is that because I gave Pandora the distress word of like, hey, bad shit's happening. I need you to come and knock me the fuck out. Like, I've been compromised. So, but because we discussed like what happened during Pandora and Bay's girls' night of sleepover time. Instead of letting Bay sleep in their car. And Bay has a contingency plan for themselves. Because they're a hunter and hunters are fucking weird.
Yeah, no, that's legit right there.
So, but yeah, like if Bay becomes supernatural, they're just a fucking idiot. Like they don't. They're a hunter. They're good at like they're not even good at hunting shit. Let's be honest. But like they just have a lot of random junk that they can do, and that's it. And then Emerus is just like, I have Excalibur.
I have Excalibur.
It's true. Like here I am. I am a wizard. I also have Excalibur because I am that wizard.
And my daughter has a vest with guns and magic.
That's
the magical
that's-
vest.
Cove, that's the game you're going to be joining, by the way.
I'm so excited to find out what you're going to be playing. So excited. So excited.
Do you have any idea what you want to play? We're using 25th anniversary rules, so you can technically play anything that was published in the old version of World of Darkness. And there's a lot of shit.
You have 150 XP to spend.
Yep.
Plus, I didn't do the math.
Yeah,
I had
it's
to
going to be more than that now.
I had to spend 126 coming in at the beginning of season 2. So
It's
a lot of time.
Yeah, you're looking at, you're looking as if you just started Five Nights at Freddy for the first time, and you're expected to know every single bit of lore so you can speak on it at a symposium the next day. Now tell us what you want to play right now.
okay. I can do that.
Oh no.
So I have just been given an opportunity that I never thought.
What's that? Make a giant, huge monster character?
No, I already have one of those. I created the species from scratch.
Okay, cool.
I'm very proud of it, by the way. I put all of my actual biology knowledge into this character. So I created a species that could actually function and exist. Anyway, but that's a whole other tangent.
You created
Hi.
an Eldritch horror, didn't you?
No, they're lovely. I'll show you them later. They
You
live in
debut them on the stream.
not that one. No.
Okay.
But what I can do,
Oh no.
so you know how I was talking about things that should take up residence in the seas more often.
Oh no.
Yes.
I know there are some creatures / playable beings in the world of darkness that can do that.
There are mermaids in World of Darkness?
I'm gonna fucking go ham is what the fuck I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make your worst nightmare, and I'm so sorry.
There is a type of were creature called a rokia.
Oh, that's right.
It is a were shark.
Are we by water?
No,
We're in the Pacific Northwest.
we are.
I'm gonna live my life.
We're in Seattle. So yes, technically we're close close enough to the ocean.
There's also plenty of creatures. And hi, I'm bringing in more of this knowledge. Since most of our water sources are neither freshwater nor completely oceanic, there are a lot of fish or water-based species that can adapt to both fresh and salt water and different salinities therein, including some sharks.
There is another concept for you to consider on that.
Hi, yes.
There are types of fae that are connected to animals, such as the puka.
Oh, I know, Puka.
And so you could actually be something that can turn full on into that animal and have those animals' traits when you're human.
But then you have to deal with M's character all the time.
She's like a princess. And
She's
she's bossy as fuck.
And she is so done with my character. She's so done with Bae. But Bae's like,
Because Bae keeps on doing. Because Bae's a straight human, and the
Bae's not straight human.
No. Okay, sorry. I mean, her character has no guard against the supernatural abilities of the
I'm actually
other
allergic to magic.
Yes.
Bae is quite literally allergic to magic. To where, like, they have a full-on sinus infection every time they walk
use
in.
Bae as a magic detector now. They kind of shove her forward and see if she has an outbreak.
I love you. I love you.
I nursed my poor baby so quick. And also, my character was blind for like 4 sessions because of Apollo.
Yeah.
Because my character is an oracle of Apollo, who's a dick.
You made him a dick. You
I
made him a dick.
To be fair,
Why Apollo? Out of all of
Okay.
the ones you can make an asshole. I'm judging.
okay, so fun fact, there's no 25th anniversary Hunter book.
Yeah.
There is just 1990 something Hunter the Reckoning and Hunters Hunted, and that is it.
There's a new Hunter's book now, but it's 5th
There's
edition.
there's the V5 version, but we're not playing V5. Trust me, I just look longingly at the PDF document I have of it, and I'm just like, one day. But like, so I had to just figure out how the fuck to make a hunter after only knowing V5 vampire. And I was looking through the different hunter types, and I'm like, I don't like any of these assholes. They're all assholes. And then I saw that there's a nerdy faction of hunters, and I'm like, fuck those nerds. Those nerds use scapegoats. I'm going to play a fucking scapegoat loner who's basically a genderqueer femme version of Dean Winchester with just as much trauma.
I'm surrounded by deans.
You are, in fact.
My other VTM game. One of the characters is just accidentally Dean Winchester. I'm surrounded by deans. What have you done to me?
I did it on purpose. I made a joke about wanting to be a Winchester, and then I ran with it and
Oh.
never came back.
I think you're winning.
But like somewhere along the line, I saw that there was like a skill you could take. Well, I forget it's been a while since I looked at base sheets, so I don't remember what they're called anymore. Hunters get special abilities to basically help combat the supernatural because humans are very squish. And one of them is that they can get visions, and I can get a prophetic vision in the moment to help me analyze a situation or give me kind of help in a thing, and I can add an extra dice to my roll. And I'm like, oh, who would give you prophetic visions? There's a gay from the Midwest who was a Tumblr era witch, Apollo. And then that turned into Apollo was also very like queer coded with some of the everything.
Yeah, it's
Everything.
Apollo.
It's Apollo. And what's extra funny is that Bay's first name is Laurel, like laurel leaves, and has a crown of laurel leaves tattooed on the sides of their head. Yeah.
You just went could make it gay. So let's just
Yeah. Oh no, I made them as gay as can be, and then got clocked immediately by the lesbian werewolf. We saw the flannel and just like, yes, friendship. And that was and then they signed a sticky note and became friends with everyone. And was immediately let in to the group.
They signed a sticky note.
And it got
Didn't
notarized.
M notarized the sticky note.
Rose
Notarized
the sticky note.
Okay.
And I think
if you get notarized by a fae, that's it. The deal is made.
Yeah, you can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. This requires some explanation. M's character has a supernatural ability called contracts. She can literally take a document and make it a magically binding. So she sorry. Pandora, Milagros' character, wrote a sticky note saying, "You're now our friend. You can't betray us. You love us and you trust us." And then had Laurel's sign it, and then M, using contracts, made it binding.
Because Pandora literally, like, because Bay was like, because this is the other thing too, is that Bay is also running away from a job gone bad, because Bay's entire thing that they like to do, they like to fuck with other hunters. Like, they love fucking with other hunters' jobs if they're just being assholes or being, like, discriminatory against supernaturals who are just living their lives. So I am the problem. I am in fact the problem. And so, like, Bay was the whole reason why Bay is even in Seattle is because they're running from a job gone bad. And they took a PI job, basically, private contractor, investigative journalism thing. Because they're also technically a felon. Technically. Because yeah, that
Okay. That tracks. I'm just fault. Yeah.
Yeah, they're technically a felon.
If they still use that ID.
They have a couple of them. They might have changed their name a couple of times by just switching the spelling on their last name. That's it. And ended up in Emerald's tea shop / bookshop, which is covered in magic. Just making sure that some girl didn't join a cult, but she just like was in a coven because she was witchy, and her granola bar mom didn't like it because God.
I love that Ghostface is still up on stream, by the way. Sorry, I just looked over and I
didn't even think to shut him off. Bye, Ghostface.
Shut him off.
Goodbye, Ghostface.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and then like it just became a thing of like Bay was living out of their car. And so they would just hang out at Emerson's shop because there's free Wi-Fi and there's caffeine and there's snacks and like there's free Wi-Fi.
Yep. All she has to do is buy a coffee and there's free the Wi-Fi's.
Yes. And
or
then
as M's character calls it, the wiffle.
the wiffle. The
The
wiffle.
wiffle.
And my first episode literally began with like fucking Pandora running after a small child in a rainbow scarf and running outside, and they watching this brick shit house of a woman run by out the door after this child, and then a giant fucking wolf appears. The size
Chill.
because it was
She turned
Pandora.
in. No, she turned into her regular wolf form. So it was just a
Was
big.
it regular?
Wolf. Yeah, it was a regular.
was
She
big
didn't.
wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She didn't turn into the, I am an Arctic Ice Age dire wolf form. The one that Sphinx character rode several times,
Into battle.
Rode in the battle.
or just going across town. Because in that form, the delirium takes, a hold. So when it kind of makes people go, oh my God, some weird guy was riding a horse through traffic and it jumped on a car and smashed it somehow, magically. Instead of seeing a giant hispo werewolf being ridden by a man casting firebolts and blowing cars up.
Gotcha. Yeah. So and that was kind of Bay's like, all right, shit's weird. Cool. And then Pandora came back and Bay found a piece of cold iron under a couch, gave it to the weird man downstairs who runs the expensive books portion of things, who also gave Bay drugs later on, like the good drugs.
What good drugs?
And then was approached by Empress and Pandora, and they just casually shit talks the Society of Leopold.
Probably the biggest society of hunters there is, the most organized, the most well-funded, and the most lethal and ruthless.
And Bay's just like, fuck those nerds.
Fuck those nerds.
There will be no ramifications for that. Oh yeah, and they're the society that nearly killed both.
Most of Kendrick?
No. They nearly killed Ivy's character, and they're the ones who horribly burned Ivy's girlfriend.
That's
And
right.
the ones that and then she got embraced by Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you when you brought in Society of Leopold, I was like, oh, this good.
Yeah.
Well, cause like,
The
cause,
links. The links.
well, because
This is just friends
Yeah,
Friend.
Bay's
in ASL.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like-
Yeah, so you're like links. I'm like friends.
Not necessarily in this time.
No.
Yeah, because Bay's link into Hunter Society was the Arcanum, which is like the nerds of nerds. They're like the exclusive ones who like to recruit on colleges and use college teens as free labor and scapegoats. But they knew enough about the Society of Leopold to just be like, religious cult. I came from one of those. Not again. Fuck y'all.
Yep.
Not doing that shit twice. No.
Oh yeah, because Bay also is a child of a cult.
Yep.
Who was used as an oracle of God, but not God.
A god.
Yeah, not the right God.
No.
Yeah, but now
they
Bay has
was
a
hearing
very
the calling, but it wasn't from the J-Man.
It's from an
I'm not convinced that Jesus isn't Dionysus, but that's a whole other
That's
conversation.
Whole thing.
And that Loki isn't God. So
It would make more sense.
you haven't heard? Have you heard the whole spiel
Oh.
about Loki being God?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
My brain just went, yes, they teamed up. And then I went,
No.
that tracks.
It's actually through the Ragnarok cycle.
No, yes, Loki being God, but Dionysus and Loki teaming
Teaming up.
up. Yes. because both Greek and Norse mythology are actually incredibly intertwined.
Isn't there? Didn't they find some kind of fucking archaeological tablet, and it showed the Roman gods and the Egyptian gods on the same, like within a couple 100 miles of each other?
Yes, not only that, but when it comes to Greek and Norse, there is archaeological evidence that one of, or actually a couple of the Norse gods were actually originally from ancient Greece, and they had a diaspora, and things grew and became things. So anyway, that's just
That's kind of dope.
Yeah.
everything's
It happens
everything.
a lot more than you think.
Everything's connected. Friends.
Friends. Friends. Yay.
Well, what's also like, so one of the other reasons why I picked Dionysus is I was told that Sphinx was playing a Hermetic mage, so I thought Hermes, Greek pantheon, follow.
Nope.
Got
It's like that's not how mages work. That's weird.
They don't give two shits about the gods. They're just like, we'll be gods eventually.
We'll get there.
I don't think Emrys has any intention on becoming a god. He just wants to live his life and be left alone for the most part. But I mean,
Well,
given
just in the
what
practice
he,
of being a mage, it's all about accelerating your avatar. And,
Yeah.
getting that avatar to the next state where you don't have to reincarnate as a meat sack.
as a meat sack, yeah.
I just want
Pizza.
like I just want to meet Emrys's fiance. That's all I want.
She's only been in
Wow.
a few episodes.
She's
She
only
came for the wedding.
yeah.
And that was about it. Otherwise, it's
She's
just
Yeah.
phone calls and stuff.
Cove, she's hot. She's like
I
real
bet.
hot. She's hot.
Yeah, I based it on Padma Lakshmi.
That's from God. She was in the Thor movie, right?
No.
No. I'm thinking of the wrong person.
Yeah, Padma Lakshmi is a hang on. I will put a picture in the thing or a link to the picture in the thing.
Put it in the Discord so I can put it up.
Yeah.
I also love that it goes blobfish, sapiens, hot person, apparently, is how
Yeah.
this chat's going to go.
Yeah. Yes.
Blobfish, sapiens, monster fuckers.
Well, and I think like technically, if you go like Were Shark, you and Pandora are the only two I'm not allergic to.
Well, the weird thing is, if you go Were Shark, most of the Rokia have fallen to the worm. So, and in the way that they do were creatures in World of Darkness is, you can have it's more like a latent gene. So you can have someone who has no connection with the Rokia culture and no connection with Rokia at all, and they go through puberty, and suddenly they're like, I am a flopping fish on the sidewalk, and I need to get to fucking water.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the teething pains of a Rokia? Just gnawing on absolutely everything.
Ugh.
Decimating you.
Be right back.
Instead of having the normal amount of teeth, you have double that.
What is okay? I
Makes
keep
sense.
seeing it in chat. I don't know what the sweet tea special is.
Oh, someone put a sweet tea special? I am so sorry if I
There's
missed that,
been like
y'all.
3 of them.
Okay, so I apologize. That is my fault. I did not have the chat up. Sweet tea special is so a lot of chats have like special things. Yes, but for us, a sweet tea special is a hydration, a posture check, and a stretch. So
Okay. Also, there's been 3.
there's been 3. So we owe 3 drinks. I do 3. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom.
Me
1,
too. It's fine.
2, 3. I keep on forgetting that the chat that I use, because I'm using this OBS, doesn't show me those announcements, so I have to keep the stream up to be able to see them.
Alright.
So that, and then you have to do a posture. We'll I don't know how you do 3 posture checks, but you can do 3 stretches.
Yeah.
Oh.
I I usually just sit like a straight person for like 3 seconds and then go back to my bisexual sitting.
I am not uncrossing my legs for this.
Nope.
I love you all, but I have standards.
I have standards.
Pro, who's your favorite animatronic in FNAF?
Can I pick from any of the games?
Yes. My
Glamrock Freddy.
favorite. I have two. My favorite is
Oh.
Roxy. Roxy Wolf. Because
Yes.
I like that she pet talks herself in her dressing room.
Agreed.
And also she's a vibe. And then my other favorite is just for creep factor entirely is Ballora.
I love her. I love her story.
I like her design. Her design translates really well, but she's also fucking terrifying looking.
Right? She's fucking great. I have 3 favorites, but they're all different reasons.
Okay.
Glamrock Freddy has to be my absolute favorite.
Yes.
You're
a superstar.
Yeah, so my daddy issues kicking hard. And Glamrock Freddy makes me feel happy and say Glamrock Freddy's like a comfort character. And then Foxy was my original favorite. I love Foxy's design so fucking much, and I love how they like adapted it as like time went on. I love Mangled too. He's my sweet fucked up little baby. And then my third one is Montgomery Gator.
Oh.
I love the lore behind Monty. I love that when Monty spoilers. But if y'all haven't anyway, spoilers. I love that when Monty gets fucked up and like cut in half when he crawls around, he turns into this feral little piece of shit and starts gnawing on everything. That just brings me an unadulterated amount of joy that I cannot physically contain. Because same.
Yeah. I watched a mutual of mine. They were doing a charity live stream and they were playing that FNAF game.
Mhm.
And I think like aesthetic wise, that one's very much my vibe. I like that one a lot. Nightmare fuel of that game is just Sun and Moon.
Oh my 4th favorite, sorry.
They're a weird little guy, and I get it. And I'm just like, but God, like that energy, and then the fucking like pops out of nowhere whenever it goes dark. I'm like, oh buddy. No.
I love Sun and Moon. I question their programming a little bit, but I love Sun and Moon so much.
Did they explain how they're supposed to function at a sleepover?
Yes. Yes, they did. They actually go through that. So the FNAF lore is incredibly detailed. It's incredibly thorough. If there's a question you have about something,
so I can like get it all caught up. Oh, by the way, we now have a hydrate because they're gonna try and drown us.
good luck. You'll need it. I recommend videos. Don't try to read all of that lore.
Okay.
Unless you like reading textbooks for fun. If that's you, please read the lore.
I used to read like Greek mythology and stuff like that just for the hell of it.
So that's different. I mean textbook.
Oh, okay.
If that's you, go for it. If you want to do some reading, some videos, that's like what videos are gonna help you a lot. They helped me, and my dumbass. But yeah, no, the lore is extremely thorough. And the thing a lot of people don't realize is the games and the books are 2 separate universes. The lore is not congruent, and that's also what I think is happening with the movies. Is I think
a blend.
so the movie is a blend in its own thing. Is the thing. It's gonna be in this separate universe. I think it's going to be the most accurate, just based on the fact that it's bringing multiple things together. But as someone who was all hopped up on the lore, it did a really good job. And I was really thankful to see that. Thankful to see it wasn't like a huge deviation or anything. Yeah. Apparently, my Myers-Briggs personality type is the same as Chica.
Yeah, that's one thing I've heard about the movie is that a lot of the diehard fans went in expecting the worst, and they came out and feeling that they've been vindicated.
It was great. I was shocked. I wasn't expecting them to be able to, and now I'm holding other movies to a higher standard for this, so get fucked. But I wasn't expecting them to be able to show that these animatronics were violent and murderous, but also that they were just kids. Because ultimately that's a big thing, is that they're just kids. And the movie did a really good job of balancing those two out and showing both sides, which I really liked. There was just as much hidden shit in the movies and the movie as there was in the games, which I really enjoyed. It set up for future movies really well without leaving you feeling like you didn't have a complete story, which is also, it's a pet peeve of mine when movies do that. Like, great, set up for your next thing. This is a complete movie. Acts like it. Anyway, it was great.
I am glad. Because I won't understand it at all. Because I don't have
You
any
will.
lore.
You will. That's the thing. You don't need the lore.
Oh.
That's the other phenomenal thing about this movie is it has so much for someone who understands the lore. But like I said, I took friends who didn't. And I've heard from people who knew none of the lore. You don't need the lore to understand the story or what's happening or to enjoy it or to get some of the little Easter eggs and everything. It brings you along from the beginning.
That's good.
Which is so nice. So yeah, don't worry about that if that's why you're gonna research. Like, research if you want to, obviously, but you don't have to panic. You're gonna understand everything just fine.
Gotcha. Well,
Also, apparently, if you watch the movie and you watch like an Easter egg video, they usually explain what the Easter eggs lore correlates to a lot and breaks it down with visual references. So, like a PowerPoint presentation.
like a PowerPoint presentation, but with terror.
Yeah.
Is it good as a horror movie? How's that? That's a good question.
So it's one of it fits into like those classic the classic horror trope, where you get suspense, you get some of the death, you get some cheap jump scares. It's not like overwhelmingly horror, but it worked in its favor. I don't think it should have been overwhelmingly horror. Because leave the horror to the games. But the movie, you get some freaky aspects, some good jump scares, keeping it true to those jump scare based games. And then you get the lore.
Yeah, because it's like, what, an hour and 45 minutes to try and tell that entire story?
Yeah, and thankfully it only tells so there are so many
first chapter,
stories.
right?
Yeah, there are so many stories that happen in FNAF. And the FNAF timeline is all wiggly, wobbly, timey-wimey, wonky shit. But they did a great job of telling the first chunk. I was not So I knew... I can't say that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Did you think of a spoiler and you're like, nope.
Well, so it's not a spoiler. That's a weird thing about the FNAF movie. If anyone's played the FNAF games or like done a deep dive into the lore or dive into the lore, there are no spoilers for this movie. This movie doesn't function with spoilers the same way. But I realized there are people here who are going to see the movie who don't know the lore. And I was like, no.
Must pause.
Yeah.
I just know I won't see the movie because Jim Henson did the suits. And Jim Henson's creations freak me the fuck out and I can't do it. Like, sitting through the labyrinth was painful because I love that movie, but all of the special effects terrify me on a very visceral
You
level.
must have never seen The Dark Crystal.
No, I was not allowed. I was not allowed to see The Dark Crystal. I was never allowed to see Pan's Labyrinth.
Guillermo del
Ooh,
Toro.
Pan's
I love
Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh my
I
God.
hated the protagonist. in those
I love and hate Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I love Pan's Labyrinth because it's fucking stunning, and
Mhm.
the acting is fucking out of this world. and everything like that. I hate Pan's Labyrinth, and I'm gonna just not say exactly why because spoilers. But I hate Pan's Labyrinth because the story is fucking gut wrenching.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it was
it's-
not. It was not what you think it was. Like just
No.
off of the
No.
trailers. Like it does not.
God.
Oof.
I came into that expecting like a slightly horror movie with cool Guillermo del Toro shit, and instead I got my fucking heart ripped out of my chest, stomped on the ground, rolled in hot sauce, shoved down up my ass, and put back in place.
But that's his style. That's what he does.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
It
I
was just
love
like,
the Pinocchio movie.
I just know that like the visual effects are so good in Pan's Labyrinth, they would like make me viscerally terrified. Because like with me in animatronics, it's more of a there's not a person in there. There's not a person in there. It can't like logic. It will hurt me. That's the thing. It's like there's no off button with it of animatronics.
yeah.
And so like because with like Five Nights at Freddy's video game, it's a video game. I'm fine. But like when it's something interacting with real people, then it becomes the oh no.
So,
I also got lost in a Chuck E. Cheese when I was like 5. So
I was a hellion in Chuck E. Cheese. I was the problem in the Chuck E. Cheese. And I guess that's led me to where I am now. That makes sense. Now I'm connecting the dots.
two separate Chuck E. Cheese experiences.
Yeah. So with the animatronics, so one, they functioned as animatronics. But two, most of them also had people inside at specific times, except Foxy.
Yes.
Foxy's limbs are too small to actually have a person in the suit. So Foxy in the movie never had a person inside the animatronic. That was fully animatronic the entire time.
Oh.
And is not able to be piloted otherwise. So Foxy is one of the only true animatronics. They made true animatronics of each one.
Because they made them for the stationary scenes, didn't they?
Oh, they made them for more than just the stationary scenes, but yes.
Yeah.
They can actually move.
Yeah. There's a cosplayer that I follow who built a full animatronic, not animatronic, they built a full suit of Glamrock Freddy, and they made it in a true animatronic fashion, especially with the way that they move in it with the joints, and it's like, my brain screams every time. I'm really impressed with it because the robotics in it's fantastic. But I'm like, you are 2 steps away from furry.
I am. No, not even 2 steps. They are furry. I'm sorry. Again, here's a hard truth. If you do FNAF cosplay, or are an avid like watcher or consumer or lore consumer of FNAF, you're a furry.
You're a furry.
That's it.
Furry motion.
Yeah, no, you're a furry.
You have a horror kink in the furry sector, but you're a furry.
Yes, I have just dragged so many people between House and FNAF. It's like, here, kicking and screaming, you're furries. Oh god, what was I gonna say before the?
And I have to comment back to chat for a second because number one, Tom was saying that he has done a deep dive on the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, and yeah, that is he's like, and my wife was commenting that she's not allowed to watch Guillermo del Toro's movie at night, and that's because she wants to watch that shit while I'm sleeping.
No,
and that will affect my fucking dreams.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I don't speak Spanish anymore, but I used to, and when I'm sleeping, I can understand it. So I don't wanna.
That's fair.
No.
Plus,
That's
absolutely fair. One thing, Madness, you should never ever watch it for one particular reason. One of the main characters in the supernatural aspect is the CGI, the special effects on him are so amazing that you will yes, that level of amazing.
It's Doug Jones. It's Doug Jones.
It's Doug Jones. I know that's Doug Jones. I've seen clips of that scene and it's fine. It's just more of a like, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because then I'll get morbid curiosity and have to watch all these movies I've avoided. Like, I don't watch a Muppets Christmas Carol because it still freaks me out a little bit too.
Listen, if you suffer all at once, you only have to deal with the therapy cost for that one time.
Listen, but I can't afford the therapy cost yet.
That's fair. Okay, save up for the therapy cost. Go on a binge. I've solved your problem.
So you're saying exposure therapy and then therapy.
Yes, exactly. It's a great like wombo combo. The thing I remembered that I was gonna say. Damn it! I don't know if that's a spoiler or not.
Oh, no. Well, for everyone else, you'd have to worry about spoilers. For me, you don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it for me. I'm not gonna see it.
Hey chat, I love you. If you don't want spoilers, sorry.
Yes. And for anyone who watches this later on VOD, spoilers.
Skip. Massive spoilers.
We'll just give you the thumbs up when the spoilers are done.
Exactly.
If we remember.
Well, no. It's gonna be like this up and down of spoilers. Like, but the big thing is Springtrap. The big spoiler thing is Springtrap. And so that's what I think of whenever I see people making these homemade suits. I'm like, good for you. There's literally a built-in story into this as to why that might not be a great idea. Please be very careful. Because I got really excited when Matthew Lillard came on screen because one, it's Matthew Lillard. For me, I got excited. Matthew Lillard does a lot with D&D now. And it's whiskey, I think it is. Anyway, irrelevant.
Tangent achieved. Back on topic.
Yes. I got really excited because I was like, oh, I now know where in the general timeline this is taking place. Because Matthew Lillard's character is William Afton.
Yes.
Who is Clara. Her name's Clara. Clara Afton's husband. I believe her name's Clara. Anyway, Clara goes on to become Ballora. Fun fact. Oh yeah, he made his wife into Ballora. She is one of the only ones he did it intentionally to. Of his family specifically. But I was like, oh, you're alive and well, and we have a Mike Schmidt. And I know where we are in the timeline. And it was this great, like, ha ha. And then I was going through like the rest of the movie. And I was like, okay, I know generally where we are in the timeline, but not like specifically. And then we got to the point where it came out that this police officer was his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, shit hasn't happened to you yet either. Okay, cool. Noted. But
she has a very key component name from the games. Yeah.
I know what she becomes later, and I love that. Takes after good old dad. But when Spring Bonnie came up, because that's what the animatronic's name actually is, Spring Bonnie. When Spring Bonnie came up, and we could hear William Afton's voice, I was like, oh, I know where we are. And then the Spring Lock scene started.
Yeah.
So Spring Bonnie's name in game is Springtrap, because it is a spring-locked animatronic suit where the spring locks have failed and have impaled the person inside, eventually leading them to die.
It's a saw trap. It's a saw trap in a bunny suit.
It's exactly, and it's great. And so the fact that we got to see that on screen, I was here like, my time, my day, it has come. Yes, I get to see you die in real time. I'm usually not that excited about murder, I swear. Well, I guess it. No, it was murder.
Yeah.
In the movie, it was murder.
Yeah.
In the games, it was not murder. It was an accidental death.
Thankfully, the cosplayers who make like the suits, like the one that made the Glamour credit, it's not that. It is
No.
hollow. there's like
Thankfully.
mechanical shit in it. It's a fursuit. It's not like an animatronic
Exactly.
suit.
Right.
But there's
Being
I do know that there was a robotics like maker who's like, hey, what if we team up and make some real nightmare fuel, buddy?
I was about to
And-
say, is this suit completely accurate? Oh.
Oh, cool. I know how to murder you in like no time. Great. I mean, it'll be a lot of time for you, not for me.
So,
Which is the important bit, you know?
oh yeah, absolutely. So now that we know that that Cove is going to play a Rokia,
So
Legit.
How are you gonna handle the shark bait hoo-ha jokes?
just like that.
We certainly will.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Oh no!
What have you unlocked?
Sorry, repeat one more time so I can make absolutely sure I've heard you.
Shark bait hoo-ha.
Shark bait! Ooh ha ha!
Ooh, ha, ha.
Oh my God! There's a blank being drawn. Have we
Finding
really hit that
Nemo.
level of
Finding Nemo?
separation? Finding Nemo.
Oh, I haven't seen that in ages. Okay.
Yeah, the fish in the fish tank.
I love it how it
So
made
I
more of an impact on all of us than it did on the.
didn't like Finding Nemo.
Oh, that's okay. You
From
don't have to.
From someone with a sea fixation.
I know. You'd think it's like it was like the same thing with like The Little Mermaid. Like I liked The Little Mermaid, but it wasn't my favorite Disney movie.
The
Like-
cartoon- so the actual cartoon TV show was better than the movie, like by leaps and bounds.
With Little Mermaid.
Like the Little Mermaid TV show that they had.
I
That they
didn't know
made-
there was one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a Disney afternoon thing for a hot second.
My
Just like
favorite
the
Little
Aladdin-
Mermaid movie is actually Ariel's Beginning. I loved that
Oh.
Little Mermaid.
When you get to see her mom.
I loved her mom. Her mom was gorgeous. But no, that was just a much more compelling story to me than The Little Mermaid was. Like I was like, okay, this is a random dude. I didn't care about this motherfucker. I know the reason I didn't like The Little Mermaid. She wanted to leave the water so fucking badly, and I was like, you're leaving everything of interest to me behind. Why?
Yeah.
Why? And then Finding Nemo, I liked seeing all the sea life and everything. That was really cool. And there were bits of the movie that I genuinely enjoyed. I guess I think overall I did enjoy it. It was just one I didn't really want to rewatch. It just had very little rewatch value to me, I guess. It's not that I didn't like it.
I was not rooting for the main characters during the movie
No.
at all. I was more interested in the shark support group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where is
And
my
the hot
mini
fish.
series?
No, I want the sharks and the one hot fish.
Yeah, I'm finding the one hot fish.
Sorry.
There's
I think his
also-
name was Gil.
I know that there's not a lot of a love for them,
Hot fish.
but there is a snake people called the Naga.
Sneeple.
Oh, I love the Naga.
Sneeple.
Maple.
I love the Naga. They're hot. They're hot snake folk.
Hot snake.
Okay. Naga are also a consideration.
What is
Um,
so the thing that Amherst exploded like really early on in the campaign? I don't know what they're called.
I love that sentence.
The
Sorry.
mage? Did he
Huh?
explode? The mage he exploded, or
Are you talking about the thing that you talking about the Nafandi?
Are Nefandi playable?
not really?
Are they people?
They were mages,
Okay.
but they sought to circumvent paradox by making deals with outworld beings such as demons, devils, and other things Cthulhu-esque. And
Outsiders and stuff.
yeah, outsider stuff. And so by doing that, they gave the outsiders access to them, and the outsiders usually corrupt them and make them mad, insane, and then utilize them for their own ends.
They're a warlock barbarian multi-class in a bad way.
Yeah,
in the
pretty
worst
much.
way.
The only thing worse than an Afandi is a what do they call the ones that are the not howlers? What the fuck is it? The ones that are all insane.
The spiral dancers?
No, that's a werewolf. And
Ah.
they're and the worst part about it is those aren't insane. Usually Black Spiral dancers, they're voluntary. Because they have to choose to walk the spiral.
Oh.
So
I didn't know.
almost all Black Spiral dancers, you're either born as a Black Spiral dancer or you have to choose to become one. You have to choose to walk the spiral.
Is it the Celesti?
No. Not not Ravagers, not God, I can't remember them now. Anyway, there's another type of mage who is almost immune to paradox, but it's because they're insane, and then they because using magic in World of Darkness' Magi Ascension is literally an act of will. And because their will has no limitation based on reality, because they can't conceive reality because of their insanity, they can warp reality to insane degrees around them, but it's also their version. So it's usually fairly twisted and broken.
Yeah.
And it can leave whole swaths of area just thrown into fucking chaos.
Gwenpool mages.
Who? Gwenpool?
Gwenpool?
I'm not familiar with Gwenpool, actually.
Gwenpool is okay. So the whole concept of Gwenpool is that she is a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
She is a normal fucking person from our world who gets sucked into a comic.
Oh,
And her
really?
name is Gwen.
And
What if Gwen Stacy was from here and also idolized Deadpool?
Yeah.
Oh, does she
and-
idolize Deadpool? Is that the whole kicker of it?
And she's just she has real world knowledge of like our world in a comic. So it fucks shit up logically a lot of the time in some of her comics. She also has a pet shark.
A pet shark?
She has a pet shark puppy. And he has his own comic.
It's a shark puppy?
Yeah. He's got like 4 legs and he walks on land. His name is Jeff. Jeff the land shark.
Jeff the land shark.
Jeff the land shark. He's real cute.
Does he eat people?
I don't actually know. I don't actually know if he eats people.
He should. If he doesn't, he should.
He's a good boy.
Knows he should. He's the bestest boy. All right. By the way, I'm sending a link to the Rokia book to you in Discord.
Thank you.
So you can
I also
You also what?
no. I also just find it interesting that I don't know. So the only World of Darkness thing I've played really is
Vampire.
Vampire. That's the experience I got, and that's also real recent. The game I'm in is the first one I've ever been in. I tried at Gen Con and so much fell through. Every single thing fell through. But when I was reading up on the Gangrel because I needed to make a backup character for my VTM game. By the way, my backup character is a feral motherfucker. Based off of a Carkle. So they're a Gangrel with like Carkle traits.
Yep.
Caracal, I guess is how you're supposed to say it. Anyway, but I came across the fact that there are Gangrel called Mariners.
Yep.
And so that's one that I was also looking at as a potential option. I probably won't go with that because I'll probably stray away from Vampire here, but I love that they're here exactly what you've been looking for. I'm like,
fun fact, I started the way you did. My first delve into World of Darkness was also V5 Vampire. And my first vampire character I played was a Gangrel, who is, her name is Kit E. Thames, and she is a Gangrel that has taken on the personality and habits of Eartha Kitt's specific Catwoman. Because she was embraced in the 70s, so she was a child in the 50s and 60s, whenever the Adam West TV show was on. And she always wanted to be like Eartha Kitt's Catwoman because it was the first woman of color that she saw be on a like really like fun, flirty like TV show in that way.
And she was a fucking powerhouse as the character.
Exactly. And so my character Kit is like, she changed her name to like Kit E. Thames, because Kit and then the E is for Eartha, and Thames is because she like refuses to be, she's feral basically. She's a very feral leading gangrel. Because what I love about gangrels is that they're very in tune with their beast. And so Kit's beast is a lion. And it's a lion that uses this temptation of companionship and having pride instead of having a pride, because together they make a pride. And it's just a very, and I literally almost diablerized the first time that I had a messy crit and killed something, because Kit's entire thing is that also that she wants to get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had her diablerize a gargoyle, if you know what those are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and she almost diablerized the gargoyle ad Elysium.
So, quick question. I didn't think eating a gargoyle was considered diablerie.
It is, because they're technically still kindred. The gargoyle she would have eaten was a gangrel and a Nosferatu.
Oh, wait. Gargoyle. For some reason, I was thinking ghoul. Not gargoyle.
No. The gargoyle she was going to eat was a gangrel and a Nosferatu, I believe.
Gotcha.
Because they're usually gangrel Nosferatus or Zamitsis in Nosferatus.
Or something made by the Tremere. Out of a gangrel and a Nosferatu.
Yeah. Because that's what those were whenever we did that in Chronicle in season 1. Mm-hmm. And then there was another one that could have been a possibility, but they're like way stronger than we had the ability to fight, probably. Because I was the tank. I was quite literally the tank. I took feral weapons so fucking quick. Because I was also very sneaky. And Alley Cat, well, not Alley Cat, I was a roadside killer. So I had Kit disguise all of her kills throughout the 80s and 90s, and she would mimic like road serial killers. And one of them is she disguised a lot of her kills via Eileen Wuornos, the woman who killed all those truckers.
Oh, yeah.
So I have it in Kit's lore that she would disguise her kills that way.
There. Celtic Urban King said Gwenpool is Marvel's isekai.
She is. But Kit was an independent gangrel in a Anarch game. She gave no fucks about politics, because she would literally sit on the Baron of the city's desk in front of him and just have a conversation face to face with him. Kit had the mannerisms of a cat. And she also had instead of having NPC connections with people, I had my cat connections.
Cat connection.
Oh my god.
If Kit's rubbing against your legs, they like you.
Where Kit would basically communicate with the strays in the city, and they all had names based on songs. So, but her familius was a Bombay named Coltrane.
A Bombay named Coltrane?
A Bombay named Coltrane. So an all-black cat. With the copper penny eyes. Yes.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
So what game is this?
This was Twin Cities. This is Kit. My Eartha cool. Kit, Catwoman character, like gangrel. That was her familius, is a black Bombay named Coltrane. And then if anything would have happened to Coltrane, the other cat that I would have had was a tuxedo named Inkpot, after Inkpot Gods by The Amazing Devil. So, but Inkpot, like, Kit gave Inkpot to M's character, Malia, because Inkpot likes to sit outside of Malia's shop. So, and Kit is also a cat burglar, but also walks around the city dressed as a cat girl with ears and tail. So I used to go on Twin Cities with ears, like cat ears on.
That is just perfect.
Exactly. And I also walked around Gen Con as Kit dressed as a cat girl.
Yay.
Nice.
So, geez, man, we've been going for 2 hours. Do you guys want us to hang out some more? Or do you want to guys go ahead and call it? I was just gonna try and do this for an hour, but we've been going crazy.
It's the orcas. It's the orcas, man.
The orca started it, yeah.
The orcas, monster fucking FNAF, vampires. World of Darkness.
Oh yeah, and I did a nuance November take. I just like to start fights.
What was at the top of the monster fucker pyramid?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we never actually
never
finished
finished
that.
Shit. Well,
Finish what you started, Ray.
5A was the whole thing with the being into the wares because of their other form type thing.
Animalism. Furries.
Yes.
Fair. That's just the furry cat, which should not. It should be lower on this list. I'm sorry. That's not impressive, but thanks.
Sometimes werewolves or like shifters are just gender envy.
Yeah.
Gender.
I listen. If I could just exist in my life as a Cayman, I would do so.
As a Cayman?
A Cayman.
Why
A
Cayman in
Cayman.
particular?
I love them. God, I love crocodilians. I love any types of crocodilians. But Caymans, there's just something about their fucking faces.
They do have the cutest faces of the crocodilian species.
It's true.
They are the
And
cutest
also, they're one of the most feral. They're smaller compared to the other crocodilians. And they have these really cute little faces. But they're also one of the most likely to absolutely fuck you up in the
Well,
wild.
I know,
like
odd-
on sight.
Yeah, odd thing is, the black caiman has almost as many attacks on humans as like saltwater crocodiles.
Yeah.
And because they're vicious and territorial, and they get to 10 feet long, so they can get pretty fucking big. But then they have that cute little face.
I just want to be a spoiled house cat of childless millennials. That's all I want.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you will be so spoiled.
I want to trade lives with Ichigo for a little bit. That'd be nice.
Where is Purasaki?
She's sleeping somewhere.
It's like
She's probably. We have the heat on, so she's probably laying on top of like. So we have a footstool. That usually we use as a footstool, but instead she has adapted it to sit or lay on top of it over one of our vents because it gets warm because it's plastic, but it's tough enough plastic that it doesn't melt. So she likes to use it as her warming rock.
now they're qualified as a lizard because they have to heat their bodies.
I mean, she steals my body heat, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I also got a new comforter to put on the couch downstairs because it gets cold in our living room because we've got big, huge windows. And our heat doesn't heat the living room very well because we've got like 2 vents, but only one of them is kind of strong, and it's the one the cat lays on. Spite. So like we have a really like comfy comforter down there now, and if I lay under the comforter, she will trap me immediately.
Yeah, pin you down. So 5, like I said, it was divided into 2 parts. There was A, which is the part about the it's not bestiality if it's sentient thing, and then there was the second part of part A was gross humans. You're looking for in quotes traits on your dating profile that include such stuff like oozing fat, people filled with insect hives, and other things that are human shaped will turn off plenty of veteran monster fuckers.
Okay. No. This entire category of 5 needs to be bumped down. This is now category 4. Category 4 is now category 5. Fuck this scaling system. They don't know what they're talking
there's
about.
There's a 5B, and 5B is getting weirder. No, the whole monster manual. Stitched together mass of other creatures, a sentient mushroom, a swarm of small angry spheres. You think you can actually fuck that is a challenge. Conceptual monster fuckers, how do you have sex with a concept of despair? An alien worm living in your brain? The void? What's happening may or may not even be sex. It's definitely porn.
Okay, so here's what I propose. 5A and B becomes 5 and 6. 5A, which is now 5, actually goes down to 4, and 4 gets bumped up to 5. And then 5B, which is now 6, stays where it is. I fixed
And
their
this
system.
this is just a Tumblr post. I highly doubt this was written by anyone with any type of actual psychological knowledge or anything like that. So, huh?
I want to know if there's a thesis paper on
Fuck
this.
that guy.
Fuck that.
There has
Would
to
you
be
like me to
someone
link
that-
the Tumblr post in chat so you can go comment on it and tell fuck that guy?
That's so much effort, and they're not worth it.
So much.
Being that objectively wrong is not worth it.
I think my thing is so would wanting to fuck a god could be able to fit somewhere in monster fucking as a cousin category?
Here's one of the things here's one of the things I have a problem with the concepts of gods and to another degree fae, because gods have very strict fucking rules because they're technically constructs of belief. So the people who believe in them develop the rules for them, and they're kind of stuck in those rules. They can't leave them.
Well, there's one in particular I can talk about that does not have any rules when it comes to that shit, and we all know who that is.
Who's that?
Zeus. Fucking Zeus.
The entire
Zeus
Greek
has rules.
pantheon.
One of the rules is that Zeus is fucking horny, and that Zeus only thinks of himself, and that Zeus is the absolute embodiment of narcissistic masculinity, and he's
Okay, so I'm gonna school you on some Greek mythos real quick.
Here we go.
I hate Zeus just as much as the next motherfucker. I need to be very clear. Sorry. But so when you look at Zeus and all of the people he's fucked, the vast majority of them, and this is the thing that I found interesting, were to fulfill a prophecy. The vast majority of people he's fucked were to sire children that fulfilled a prophecy that already existed. Yes, he's horny. Yes, he makes stupid decisions, but I just flung that. Like all Greek deities, they're just a guy. They really are just a guy who has way too much power. And they don't know what to do with it. But he was actually doing his godly duty by fulfilling these prophecies, siring these children. Not all of them. Not all of them. But that's one of the main reasons, outside of her domain being marriage, that Hera actually stuck around, is because it's their prophecies. They gonna do what they gonna do.
Yeah, mine was more so like my question of is wanting to fuck a god, not actual mythology.
Yes.
It's more the wanting to fuck an eldritch horror. Because that's kind of god territory.
Elder God.
No. Gods and eldritch horrors are two separate categories.
Okay.
Because gods are low tier monster.
Yeah.
Most gods are hey, that's a thing with a lot of power and it's not human, but you really look human. That is low tier. That is shit tier. Congrats, you're technically on the monster fucking scale. I do not respect you. Eldritch terrors, they go on the upper end of that
well, two things. Number one, to comment.
You get
back
turned on
Zeus.
by Yog Sothoth.
To jump back to Zeus thing, that also means that Zeus still is locked into roles and doesn't have any agency. Because
No,
he has to fuck people to make these prophecies come true.
But he chooses to. That's where the thing
Does
is.
he choose to though? Because you said it's a
Yes.
prophecy. You said it's a prophecy.
And prophecies have actually been broken in Greek mythos.
They have.
prophecies have
True.
actively
Yeah.
not come true in Greek mythos.
Okay.
It also begs the question that for some of these, and I'm not the expert in Greek mythology, so is why I ask the question. Did Zeus know about all of these prophecies as he was fucking these people, or was he just kind of like, I'm going to fuck this person? Oh, wait, so happens I was supposed to anyway.
Yeah,
It's
because that's the other common trope in a lot of the translations that we have nowadays of
Mhm.
like the Greek knowledge of how they did their storytelling also and how they recorded their storytelling. Because
yeah.
there's even like artifacts that go from like the differences between a city and this time period and then that city fast forward and jump a
Right.
couple of decades. Like the same story is told but in a different like way. Like the story of Hades and Persephone is a really popular one of
Yeah.
depending on where you're looking at the mythos, it's like it's actually like Demeter and Poseidon, or what the entities that were Demeter and Poseidon was Demeter and Persephone were the same god, and then like Poseidon and Hades were the same god
Mhm.
in like Mesopotamia.
a few places.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a few
A few
places.
places.
Which then turned into like once you get into the chthonic ones.
Yeah.
You look at the story of like Gaia and Nyx and Erebus and all of those, like those ones have the same mainstay of these are the main characters, these are the main stories, these are their purposes.
And that's not even getting into the mythologies where Persephone actually came first and was the god of the underworld.
Exactly. So, and it's like, so there's a lot of that too. And then a lot of the prophecy stories end up being changed from like the original probably story that is lost to time because they didn't write it down.
Mhm.
It's just someone who happened to be able to wrote down a version they heard and or knew, and then hopefully got as many details as possible. And then from there, it also changed into like moral questioning. It became the reason of why we have like seasons. It becomes the reason of why like you have to do something this way.
Mhm.
Because my favorite one is like I love the nine Musae of the arts because they are the nine daughters of the Titaness of memory and Zeus, and there was a daughter for every single like lineage of the arts that needed to be protected and preserved over.
Yeah.
And with those stories also, it's like each one of the Musae had kind of their little domain that they enacted in. And then those stories of them then got translated into other things, and they pop up in other works. Because the muse I love the most, the Muse of Tragedy, her daughters were said to be the handmaidens of Persephone,
Mm-hmm.
who were there at the time when Persephone was taken into the underworld by Hades, and Demeter in her rage cursed the three handmaidens and turned them into sirens, which are the sirens you then encounter in the Odyssey, who try to lure the many sailors to their deaths, but as soon as they fail to do so, they throw themselves onto the rocks. And the tragedy of it being that their mother is the Muse of Tragedy, and their father is a literal river god. So they embody their mother's domain, and they drown at the whim of their father because of the rage of another mother losing her daughter. So that is something that was told as a heartbreaking tragedy for the Muse of Tragedy through other people's works. And then you have to do the backtracking to find out who the fuck they were. But like that kind of thing, connecting into all of these bigger stories going on. And then it's the story of like Scylla, like the story of Scylla being that Scylla was a nymph who was beloved by a man who fucking fucked around and found out with Cersei, and Scylla got the shit end of the stick and got turned into a monster.
Oh.
So, and had to go basically also fuck around and find out with sailors. Like,
so I've got it's not a question. It's more of a it is a question. But so what is everyone's, because this could touch on personal spiritual things, but I'm coming at this conjecture from more of a silent, more of an analytical viewpoint. A lot of the whole presentation of gods in early mythos is the concepts of man trying to examine and explain phenomenon in the world around him, and so certain phenomenon from the world around them are given embodiments and called gods. Like Zeus is very much a god of natural forces and chaos, as well as, obviously, he has fertility issues implanted with him, etc., etc. But that was something that was developed from, man encountering these concepts and forces. As man became more in control of his environment, his gods got more
Streamlined.
Huh?
Streamlined.
Yeah, less was needed to be explained, so the gods got. Oh, and the gods also got much more, not clinical, but much more focused in the fact that they had more extreme power than the previous gods before them, but less responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There were more alien things that had all this power, and we were these little ants that they kind of cared about.
More esoteric archetypes.
Mm-hmm. So when we're looking at the gods that were in the past, the current, I've always looked at this as man trying to explain away the universe, but at the same time, since they're traits and stuff of things that actually happen, they are technically cogs in some great mechanism that keeps the mentality of the human mind in place in this reality and doesn't let us basically go mad with just existence because of all the stimuli we always have coming towards us. We give these gods these attributes to help explain away the stimuli until we rationally explain it away, and then that power is not needed by the gods anymore, so suddenly it becomes something that's no longer needed to be worshipped or sacrificed to, because it's not Zeus with throwing lightning bolts, it's an electric storm.
I think this was the entire plot of American Gods, but also Percy Jackson.
Yeah, a little bit. It's that it takes from that whole idea of the Tibetan principle called pulpus, whereas if you believe in something hard enough, it comes to be. And if enough people believe in it, the more people that believe in it, the more power that thing gets, which is kind of what the American Gods did.
Yeah.
So I don't personally subscribe to a god or a religion or a deity or a spiritual philosophy, other than they can all catch these hands, except for a couple of them. But
and that's I do find that that's becoming much more of a thing now, is that people are basing spirituality on gods and powers and systems of belief that align much more with their personal outlooks.
Yeah.
And taking what they want from religions, thought processes, philosophies, and basing it all about, fulfilling the personal God within rather than
me.
than bowing to any set religious connotation.
Yeah, if I were to believe in higher powers, that would be how I would explain it. Like that, it would be we believed we created these gods, and then we believed in them for so long, so hard that we manifested them.
I'm sorry, my brain just did something really stupid.
What?
They're just like, They're kind of like pigeons. It's kind of like what we did with pigeons. We took and domesticated pigeons to use and to help, and then we tossed them away and started treating them like a nuisance and ignored them and forgot what we were doing with them originally.
It hurts my heart. I would love to have a pigeon, but I'm afraid of birds.
But it just feels like pigeons.
Yeah. because the way I look at it is
Except
that,
Christianity. Can we toss him out already? Sorry.
Yes,
Who?
please.
same. The way I look at it, because with the reference that I was raised by a bunch of crazies, loosely bunch of crazies. Like on one side, that my maternal grandfather was a Pentecostal preacher / grifter who did the whole speaking in tongues, like cutting the heads off
Oh,
snakes.
sorry, we have a hydrate. I forgot. Sorry.
Like cutting the heads off snakes to absolve yourself of your sins, kind of nonsense. And along with all that, and then the maternal grandmother, who was not with the maternal grandfather, was a 3 times born again Christian. So, and yeah. And then I was like basically raised around that. And then people who like loosely did religion when it was important on holidays, as it typically goes, with non-denominational, and then like going to a mega church basically for Sunday school and Wednesday Awana and bullshit like that, and getting like rewarded because I can recite all the different books of the Bible, like that kind of shit. And then looking at it from standpoint of like, I had my favorite Bible stories. Like I had stories that like I loved because like I felt like a connection to them. Like the story of Esther was my favorite for a while because she was a boss ass bitch. And then the story of Judith and Holofernes, the chick who cut off the dude's head. And like, and then the story of like Daniel and the Lion's Den, like that was a big one too. That was pushed on me a lot whenever I was a child. And like all of those stories, like they were told as stories to me whenever you're a child, and then you learn the context of them whenever you have to go through all that shit, and then they become more than stories, and you try to pull things from them. But I never like saw them as more than stories to a point because I didn't connect with it. I was just kind of raised in it. Versus, you know, people say Greek mythology, but it's like these are still cultures that widely still practice. Like the Hellenistic religion is still very alive.
Very much so.
Like there are still very active practices, and I don't know if they still call themselves cults or not. I don't think they
probably
still
not. Now that cult has gotten the connotation that it has, I would assume that they don't.
There's probably a native word for it that I don't know and I can't say because
go.
I don't speak that language. And I don't want to butcher it because but like, and there's still practicers within that. There are still people who are priestesses, who are priests, who are like going into the schooling for it because they're still schooling for people to become druids.
Yeah.
Of the very like naturalized, like antique, not ancient, not antique, the very naturalized religions that are in belief systems and storytelling form that is dying out.
Yeah.
And certain more like magical based. There you go.
Hi.
Yeah.
So this is for the Hellenic pagan group that I'm actually a part of, that does a lot of education, and actually does certain like, what are they called? Not degree programs, but like
Certification.
kind of certifications. But yeah. So you're like, the things. I was like, the things.
Yeah, because I remembered you mentioning it. Because like I didn't start connecting with things until I found other things in the world, and I started like hearing about those things from people who like are active in it. And one of my like personal favorites is One Thieves of Tragedy, because when I Museum of the Arts, I immediately is like, hi, yes, I love all of you. When I have a big enough like shelf space, hi. But until then, like I usually wear a necklace that has a comedy and tragedy mask because there are 2 sisters of comedy and tragedy of the 9 that are they're dual to each other. They were born one after the other. And
Melpomene. Thalia Melpomene, I believe, right?
Yes. And like, so those two, like, they usually come together. So it's honoring one is to honor the other. It's kind of like if you honor Apollo, you should honor Artemis. If you honor
Yeah.
Ares, you should honor Athena. So because they're the duality of it is very also heavy in like Hellenistic practices, is understanding that there is a structure of if you give thanks to one, you should give thanks to many. And because whenever I learned that, I learned the story of basically the Titans and how the difference between the Titans and the Olympians, and the thing with Kronos like devouring his children. Hestia is the oldest but the youngest because she was the first to be devoured and the last one to come back out. And then she took on her place as the keeper of the sacred flame. And to honor her in Grecian society, you are to burn an offering to her every time you sit down to make a meal or to serve a meal. And you're also supposed to give hospitality. And that is where the rule of hospitality comes from. In their culture is Hestia, because she is watching over the eternal flame, the same flame that Prometheus stole from to then give fire to humans. Well, he makes his penance by having his liver eaten out every fucking day. And by having a connection to the Muses, who are daughters of Zeus, it only makes sense that if you are to study and to read, you need light source, and what better light source than the fires that Hestia watches over. So she's like also another one of mine. And it's like a lot of times too with this is like people say it's like, oh, you can only choose one. It's like I choose Loki because I like mischief. It's like, yeah, but Loki has such a duality to him because Loki is not only a father but also a mother, not only a husband but also a wife, not only a son but also a daughter. It's like, and then both of them together, and it's understanding the fluctuation of it. It's the same thing of like with a lot of the Egyptian like storytelling. A lot of the Egyptians, like, yes, you have your one that watches over you in one part of life, but all of them have a purpose in certain parts of your life.
Absolutely.
And it's like, to say that it's like, oh, I only honor this one. It's like, yes, but you, by doing that, there are so many others you could easily incorporate into your practices if you want to have a deeper understanding of this religion that you weren't born into, and to show honor to the people who like still upkeep this. It's like making the fucking trek to the Colosseum is one thing, or making the trek to like what's left of the like different like temples and whatnot, and finding new and getting excited because they found like tablets of things, and then the misconstruing of like Medusa herself and saying it's like everyone with a Medusa tattoo is traumatized. It's like, no, it's like her story has been retold so many times based on the context of the region she was found in.
Yeah.
But she herself, like her story changes, and because she is also a Gorgon, and Gorgons are ever changing in their way that they're presented in storytelling.
Yep. One of my favorite statues, I can't remember the artist who did it, but it's a statue and it has Medusa, and she's holding Perseus's head.
Perseus's head, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of my favorite paintings is the Caravaggio painting of like Medusa's head. I actually have it as my coaster. Like that's one of my favorite paintings because I love that style of artwork. And that was the other thing too, is like artwork and storytelling and religion is a huge thing too. Because if you look at like the difference between the different churches commissioning a statue of Satan, or a statue of Lucifer for their churches, but they had to take it down because it was too hot. So the next one, out of spite, made him even hotter.
I love that.
And he was a distraction.
He was a distraction.
And then
He's
you have
supposed to be son of the morning. He's supposed to be the most beautiful thing there is.
Exactly. And then, you know, it's like the story of the way the story of Icarus also ties into the story of the Minotaur.
Oh yeah.
It was
Oh,
his fucking,
I forgot.
it was his fucking dad's fault.
Yeah.
Like, and
that's why they had to make the wings in the first place.
Yeah, because his fucking dad helped the queen fuck a bull. Like, And then the Minotaur was innocent. He deserves so much better. My poor boy. My poor boy.
My poor boy.
Which is also why I love Minotaurs as a creature, which is also why I love Sphinxes, which is also why I love Manticores.
Ooh, I made for dinner games. Huh? What?
Sphinx gets all excited when I say I love Sphinxes.
Yes, because Sphinx loves love.
Yes.
Why should Sphinx not?
But yeah, I made one of the things I made with those interlocking tiles that we are going to start selling is I made it's a game, it's a module, and it's for like 1 to 4, and it's basically it's gonna be a thing where you go through a traditional maze and minotaurs layer. And so I finally built out and printed out enough pieces to build out the entire maze, because I've got all the printers running now, and holy shit, I have 2 3x6 tables set together in the living room. We moved all the living room furniture all the way, and it takes up the entire center of the table.
Nice.
Yeah, it's huge. I've got pictures of it, and it is definitely very big. And so, but anyway, I'm currently trying to find a appropriate Minotaur, because I'm gonna make it a Minotaur Lord. So I'm trying to find an appropriate Minotaur model to print out to go with it, because I don't want just a standard. The one from from Wizards of the Coast from their WizKids series sucks. So I want something much more dramatic.
I think you can. Have you tried Hero Forge? You might be able to make one in Hero Forge and download the thing.
It's still not good enough. Trust me. I found some stuff that is fucking badass.
Nice.
Solid.
So,
that's dope.
Oh yeah, and one of our cats has decided that the maze is the perfect thing to sleep on. I don't know how that's fucking comfortable.
I was just watching Cove get excited while I was going on my ramble.
Who?
Just watching.
Oh yeah, what were you getting excited about? You were doing the thing. I want to know what the thing was about. I want to know.
I was probably incorrect on something because someone scholarly learned.
You were not, actually. Every single thing you said was factually correct, based on what we currently know. So
exactly, and that's the other thing too, is like we find shit every fucking year. We find shit that changes like the way that we look at something, and that's also what I love about it too.
Can we just stop finding coffins for dead gods, please?
Yeah, no.
Can we stop that? Can we not find those?
If we find graves, we need to leave the graves where they are, or like put them in a better, like just help restabilize the grave. And
yeah, that whole thing is like we found Osiris's grave. Put that shit back.
Look at we found from, please.
We found the path to Cerberus's grave. Like, nah, bruh. Leave that shit alone.
Congrats. Stop it.
Just stop digging up shit. Just
we don't need it.
There's that one meme that was basically a meme to say, prostheses have been around for a long time, because they found that prosthetic eye from a grave in like Egypt or something like that. And then they were like, yeah, the prosthetic eye was found in a skeleton of a priestess.
Nope.
In a tomb that was marked as, this is with the hieroglyphics on it, like, this is an incredible important priestess. She inspired so many. And then they measured the fucking skeleton. They confirmed it was a priestess, a female, presenting everything like that. And they measured the skeleton. The skeleton was over 6 feet tall.
Don't touch. We need to just stop touching skeletons.
That's what everyone in the comments is like. Put the eye back. Put the fucking skeleton back.
Put that thing back where it came from. Well, so help me. So help me. So help me. Goodbye.
Have you never seen the plot to any mummy movie ever?
Yeah. When it comes to archaeology, I am very much the if you find a tomb, leave the tomb. If you find just a ditch and there's some pottery in it, cool.
Ooh,
maybe
man.
take enough photos of the pottery, leave it in the country you found it in, so the country can put it in their museum, British Museum.
Yes.
But like, stop taking shit from places that you don't know what the fuck it is, because it's gonna be bad, and we don't need it.
Real bad.
Either full sail start the apocalypse and stop cock teasing me, or leave it where it is.
I would like a nice apocalypse.
Like, either
I mean,
make
we are
sure
trying to
I
do
pay
so
back
much.
my student loans, or it's
The
either
only way
student
out of
loan
student-
forgiveness or apocalypse. You have two choices.
You have
Fuck,
options.
the most likely one is the fucking student the apocalypse.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
waiting. Listen,
Like, can we like if we're unlocking like magical shit, can we at least get some magical swords so that we can at least stand a chance? Please, please. I would like to hunt some monsters
You know
before
how
I
it's gonna
go.
go. The magic we're gonna be unlocking is the one thing is gonna be the spell that literally like brings about the end times, and
Sure.
we're gonna be the dumbasses who do Clara Verata instead of actually casting the fucking spell correctly, and we're gonna fuck all the shit up.
Yep. That sounds about right.
I fully believe that, like,
Gonna Evil Dead the shit out of things.
We're gonna Evil Dead the shit out of the world.
because my thing too is like with a lot of the tropes of like Hollywood making movies and whatnot of like something is coming to destroy the world. Nah, fuck the humans. Like, allow it to happen. Like with I watched all of the Transformers movies
Let me go.
over the course of like 3 months, and the entire time I'm watching this, and I'm just like, once you get past like the second one, I'm like, Optimus, say fuck the humans. Just take the fucking thing you need to fix your home world and say
Right.
fuck the humans. They don't work.
We're not worth it, bro. We're
We're
not.
not worth it.
Well, if the volcano chain in Italy has anything to say about it, we'll be dead soon.
Vesuvius Part 2.
Oh no, it's actually technically not Vesuvius, but the caldera that's under there connects to Vesuvius, and the predicted eruption that's going to happen from the mountain should be able to crack the caldera, which means that every mountain on that caldera is going to blow at once,
Lovely.
which includes Vesuvius. And so that
So
means gas. That means ash cloud and no more sunshine.
And then
No
it turns
sunshine when
into-
she's gone.
And then it turns into 30 days of night, but times 1 million D.
Oh, I was gonna say it turns into Snowpiercer. For
Snowpiercer.
someone had credit
I
with
don't want to
the
ride a stupid train forever.
Me neither. You know,
That's too damn bad.
Damn bad. Stupid train.
Grandpa, I don't want to ride this train. I'm too damn bad. Keep riding.
well, and I think like also because, funnily enough, Holes is kind of also set up like a Greek tragedy with the story of with Kissing Kate and her
Mhm.
her beloved.
I can fix that.
My heart. I will never forgive that movie for what it did to me. It gave me one of the best interracial couples and then took it from me immediately by racism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, how dare you? Dare you rob me of beautiful representation? I'm just gonna go back to my Justice League with fucking John Stewart and Shira Hall
John and Shira forever.
forever. But no, like, and that's a whole other thing too, is like the way that DC handles like characters based in mythology and or storytelling of the ancients, and then saying it's like, nah, it was aliens. It's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. You have Wonder Woman. Shut the fuck up.
That reminds me of, so I have been following this YouTuber who does these fantastic video essays, and one of the video essays she did was on Stargate SG-1 and raised the question: is the whole thing of like, or Stargate raising the question of these religions, were they aliens oh hell, appropriating the religion to get their way, or are we trying to say that these religions created, or these aliens created the religions to enslave humanity? And it's like,
Terrifying. Terrifying. I feel the same way about space that I feel about the sea. There's shit
Oh, you're
I
one
don't
of the
know.
rare ones. Okay.
Oh, no. Okay, so there's this. I have a friend who decided he wants to curse me, and we were having a conversation in my Discord server about how, because I have a friend who loves space more than life itself, and he dropped the knowledge on me that eventually, in a couple like eons after everything goes through a heat death, our galaxy will vor itself.
Well, what itself?
Our galaxy will commit cannibalism on itself.
yeah, it'll eat
Called
itself alive.
boring. Don't look that up. It will ruin your Google search history forever and end up on
Do
a-
it. Ruin it. Suffer.
And so I have a friend who said, it's like, you know what? I hope you live long enough to see the galaxy in its vor kink. And I'm like, please don't curse me like
Why
that.
would they say that to you?
Funniest thing about that statement. My wife is like, I always tell my wife, I say, I want to live forever.
Yeah.
I would love to live forever. Because the biggest thing about living forever means that, because, everyone's like, well, you just experience everything and then you be on repeat all the time and it'd be boring. It's like, it can't happen. It can't happen until heat death. I was like, because the big thing is, there's too much chaos. There's not enough math to explain all the chaos. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So there's never not going to be a mystery. There's never not going to be a new thing to try and figure out, a new thing to learn, a new thing to go try and do. The only thing that's going to limit it is the fact that I'm kind of an idiot. So
It's the hick vampires all over again.
yep, it's Hick It's Hick Immortal. Oh fuck! What happens when you have a redneck immortal? Oh, someone has to make that. Oh my god.
The moonshine gets better.
The moonshine gets better.
The moonshine
It has
becomes
to.
jet fuel, and space exploration happens faster.
Oh my god.
Wait.
Forever.
What if the next Highlander is a redneck Highlander? My name is Jebediah McLeod of the Clan McLeod.
We come from the foothills of Kentucky.
And I can't die.
Watch this shotgun.
I like that, like, oh hi Ishka. I love that, like, you said it's like, yeah, we're gonna place small town life in the Appalachian, and me and M just pop out with the most Midwest Southern
No
accents.
shit, you guys. Those two characters are so fucking hilarious.
hilarious.
I just like, and
Wow.
you two play off each other so fucking well.
Because
Yeah.
it's the one game our characters can get along with each other easily.
Because you made it up as you were related.
Because we're cousins. And we're distant enough cousins to where we could grow up together and not have to see each other all the time.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, that game has been a fucking joy though.
it really has.
Davina becoming a MILF?
Hi. We'll dilf it later. I made a promise.
So I was gonna say when Milagros is ready to come back, which is still looking about January. I was gonna say we might want to even think about what if we just let Milagros make a character and we do that in every other week rotation.
I'm here for that. 100% here for that.
We do have a canonical werewolf family in the town.
We have created a werewolf family. She can play another monstrous and be a werewolf.
We
There
have
you go.
we canonically have a werewolf family in the town because we told we told Cheese not to fuck with their cat or dog. Their dog.
Cheese. I miss cheese.
I don't.
I don't.
Everyone hates cheese.
I don't miss Cheese.
I did not mean for that to come out so fast. I'm sorry.
Oh come on, cheese is a shit.
I know.
He is just like cheese is Cheese is literally a GM
The
caveat
worst.
to just go. Yeah, you guys don't do all this shit to fuck with me all the time. Here's something to just fuck with you all the time.
I see. I see.
I have done nothing to you.
You are new, yet that is true, but you are a gamer, therefore you will fuck with me eventually. And this is preemptive.
Am a delight.
You are
Anything that happens is now retaliation.
You have done this to yourself, Ray.
Don't, okay.
Done this.
Ray, how many dice did Pandora roll in that like mecha dragon?
95,000.
It was so many dice. She rolled so many dice.
And I found that rule. The rule is that if you fucking have over 10 dice in a dice pool, you're supposed to make the extra dice just fucking auto successes and only roll the 10 dice.
Roll the 10?
You should only be rolling 10 dice in a dice pool. Max.
Oh my gosh.
So
Oh my
she
gosh.
would have had something like, I think on that one big roll she would have had 7 auto successes because she rolled like 17 dice.
Oh my gosh.
So werewolves get stupid ridiculous
Oh my gosh.
because they start with like a, and then all those successes transfer onto damage. Oh no, the Mowgli are even worse. The Mowgli have like a once in a lifetime form they can take, and it is literally a fucking dragon or a T-Rex, depending on how you want to look at it.
No, dragon.
Wait, Mowgli, wasn't that the thing that
The
we
kid,
at the very
Eric.
Boy,
Oh,
that was
boy.
Penny's ex-boyfriend.
they went on one fucking date.
they were on one day. They weren't. It wasn't a thing. One
That's
time.
Penny's
One day.
ex. Listen,
Penny's ex. Poor
that's Penny's
Penny.
ex.
Poor Penny. Want to talk about an NPC I made up and then beat the shit out of? Or Sphinx made it up, actually.
Yeah, leave my daughter alone.
Oh my
Damn.
god, poor Penny. She's such a traumatized NPC. She's like, I want to quit magic. Fuck this shit. I'm moving to New Orleans.
Going to New Orleans with grandma.
Listen, whenever
I
the world
gotcha.
stops ending again and Penny leaves to move in with Tati, then Emrys just gets to deal with Bay.
Bay's gonna move into Penny's room.
I mean, it
No.
stands to reason if Bay's gonna be his new apprentice. That stands to reason.
I
It'll
don't
be
know.
really hilarious. And I've been talking to Ivy about it. If Vera suddenly just showed up again.
Oh, I would love that.
Wait, Ed said something about how, like, at the level of Faye that Rose is, that being around a kindred too long would kill her.
Say what now? Oh yeah. Rose is like at the sheer amount, because like I said, banality is incredibly harmful to them now, which is why the house just fucking left and went into the mountains.
Valid.
Because it's like it's a whatchamacallit, it's a freehold, but it's now an insanely powerful freehold, so it's filled with glamour. And it's just like, I can't deal with this shit. I have to get away from technology. I have to get away from humanity. So it literally put itself like out on these hiking trails in the middle of fucking backwoods Seattle. Not even in Seattle.
Not even
like
in Seattle. It's
110
like-
miles from Seattle.
It's a good couple hours away.
Yeah.
Ski
So-
resort.
Not even. No, it can't be near. That's banal as shit.
Well,
It
no.
cannot be near ski resorts.
Rose Red became a Faye ski resort.
A face ski resort. Basically that makes sense. But the whole thing with with
Kindred.
kindred and them, especially the type of kindred that Vera is. Vera's a La Sombra. The Sombra, Shamaze, Ventru, Toreador. Toreador is not as bad. Malkavians are not as bad. Gangrel is not as bad. Bruja are bad. The biggest problem with these kindred is the more that they lose their humanity, the worse they are for Fae to be around. Like,
How are Bruja? How are Gangrel not as bad? Because they're the ones who usually like lose their humanity fairly quickly.
but they
depending on how-
also have a small a small connection to the natural world still.
Mm.
So they do lose humanity, but they also become more animalistic, and so it's not quite as bad.
Not
But
as bad.
it is not great. out of all the kindred, the ones that are described as having the safest ability to be around Fae are Malkavians, the old version of the
Salubri?
no, well, Salubri, yeah, and the old Ravenos.
Oh yeah.
But Ravenos are just because, and the Kiasid, but the Kiasid shouldn't ever be around fucking kindred anyway. Not kindred, but a Fae, because they'll fucking eat them, and they won't be able to help themselves.
I feel like the Salubri and the Fae have that in common.
What's that?
They just will get eaten because they smell nice.
No, it's not. That's the thing. The Fae are not like the Fae in the horrible TV show we were talking about earlier. They don't taste great to kindred at all.
I mean, like with that one kind of kindred.
Oh no, the Kiasid are
Yeah.
vampires that were created using Fae blood.
Ugh.
Yeah. So because they crave glamour but they cannot have it in them, if they find a Fae, they will eat it because it gives them that small taste of glamour before it burns away. It's absolute fucking torture for them.
It's a drug.
Gross.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's hilarious.
Addict? What are you saying addict for? But yeah, so it's a very they made when they made the World of Darkness and then they made Changeling. All the books and aspects of the World of Darkness are about, loss and the loss of humanity and the loss of the natural world and everything like that. And they tried to make Changeling the loss of creativity and imagination. But what they ended up doing is they ended up capturing the concepts of creativity and the imagination being the only real things that fuel the human existence.
Mm-hmm.
And so Changeling is technically the only World of Darkness game that actually has hope. Because if the Fae can manage to come back to the world, they could possibly restore hope for humanity.
Fuck those humans. As someone who's playing the only fucking human in Emerald Sanctums, even Bay would say, nah, fuck those humans.
Fuck them kids.
Fuck them hunters.
Yeah. The hunters are like, they're usually, as with everything World of Darkness, the hunters are fucked up.
I feel like Hunter the Reckoning could be solved with so much therapy. So much therapy.
Oh. We lost him. We lost Cove.
I think the noodles are coming to us.
Oh, the noodles.
The
That's a big
noodles.
noodle. That's a big noodle. I know Cove's not a huge person because I've met them, but that's still a big noodle.
Mega noodle.
Mega noodle.
Have you guys
See,
seen
I can
the
never let my noodles get in my face like that. They bite the fuck out of my nose.
Have you seen the cats where it's like the werewolf looking cat mixed with a Maine Coon?
Mancoon is a werewolf-looking cat.
No, there's like
It's mine is.
Actual wolf cat thing.
there's a wolf cat,
I'm Googling. I want to see a wolf.
and
cat.
they have like they look like Wolfman because they have like bare faces because they don't like grow fur on all over their faces. But there was a video of someone had like one of those, and apparently it had babies with a Maine Coon, and the babies are fucking huge.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, werewolf
And
cat.
they don't have a ton of fur on them. They're weird looking.
Yeah,
They have webbed paws.
yeah.
Lycoy. Oh my gosh.
They're so cute. They're just little dudes. They're weird little dudes.
I love they have raccoon masks but in reverse.
Yeah. They're precious babies. They're also very expensive because they're very rare.
A kitten mysteriously losing its hair turns out to be a lycoi.
Yes. They're
That's
very cute.
crazy.
Oh, that one's so cute.
Yes.
Oh my god, they're so cute.
I also saw
Wow.
somebody had a one of the Norwegian forest cats
Mm-hmm. Poof
uh,
balls.
that they
No, it's not a Sphinx kitty. It's actually has fur. It's just very sparse and thin. And apparently they're born with lots of fur like a regular cat, and then as they grow, they lose fur.
yeah.
Norwegian forest
And they
cats
have
are
a mask.
gorgeous.
They have a white mask. No, oh, you haven't seen Norwegian forest cats yet?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
them's the chunky boys, and they have learned that because they have a big foofy tail, that if they curl their tail under them and stand on it, it keeps their paws off the fur,
Off the snow,
Off
yeah.
the snow.
off the snow. Sorry, no, it's on the fur, but off the snow. So you'll see them. They'll lay their tail in front of them, and then they'll take these little shuffly steps, and that's them walking up into their tail.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
adorable.
There was somebody I saw on TikTok who has a kitten who's like a Norwegian forest cat and a rag doll.
It's a ragdoll.
A rag doll? They're basically cats, but have the personalities of puppies sometimes.
Yeah, they're very, very like fluffy, very long-haired
Oh, I
cats.
know those.
We have one. His name is Miso Stormageddon, the Dark Lord of All.
Yeah, that tracks.
But we have a Gallifrey, so we have to have a Stormageddon somewhere in there.
Well, of course.
Oh, we have 5 cats right now. We're not getting any cats for a long time.
Yeah, same.
I posted videos of Ichigo on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone keeps calling her a boy, so I have to put her pronouns in the video.
I used to call them a boy all the time, remember? I thought they were a boy. And I think it's mainly because the name somehow seems or sounds masculine.
Well, she's named after a male character in
Oh,
Bleach.
okay.
Yeah,
Ichigo.
Yeah, Ichigo's a male character.
But also there's a magical cat girl anime, and the main character's name is Ichigo because Ichigo means strawberry, which is why she's my strawberry demon.
So Ichigo is a strawberry.
All right, what is this magical cat girl anime called? I need to know.
I don't actually know.
For reasons.
It's just if you search magical cat girl anime and then Ichigo.
Yeah, if you Google
Cool.
magical cat girl anime, we're gonna lose you for the rest of the evening.
That's fair. Tokyo Mew Mew.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Tokyo Mew Mew. I haven't watched it all though.
I've heard the title before, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, one of the characters' names is Ichigo. So, but she is named after the chaotic Soul Reaper, because whenever she first appeared and she started deciding that she wanted to stay, mainly just that I got anxiety every time she left the house because I thought she would get hurt now that she's known comfort of a home, and needed to be domesticated immediately for her own son. Noodle.
That's a normal size.
That's a baby noodle.
That's a baby nibble tube.
Nibble tube.
Yeah, look at the size difference.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
We
So
had
which
a,
one's
we
the
had a,
normal
we had a nibble tube that big. His name was Gus, and he would the other ferrets would be running across the room, and Gus would be running with him, and then all of a sudden he just slammed down on the floor and lay there, and all the whole herd of ferrets would go running off without him, and then he'd be laying there for like 30 seconds, and then you could see him, he just sigh and get up and start running again.
Aw.
Dangle test.
Yeah. Oh, there's no dangle test. They just
She's
dangle.
grabbed onto me, is what she's done.
No more dangle.
I don't want to dangle.
What?
Yeah. But like after I decided that I was having too much anxiety about Ichigo being an indoor outdoor cat.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first we thought it's like, oh, we'll just have her we'll make sure she's well fed. But then it was starting to get cold outside. And then I saw sad cat videos on TikTok that made me cry. Then I saw a sad cat distribution system about an orange cat who was sick.
No.
Oh
And I
no!
immediately thought of her.
3 of them.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness, there's more.
This is all of them.
And then the figure.
Be
Give
careful.
arms
They're
over-
addictive. You keep on getting more, and next thing you know, you'll have 9.
I'm good. I'm starting my aquariums next.
That's another expensive one to get into,
I know.
especially if you go saltwater.
Are they not penned in right now?
No, they free roam.
Oh.
They just chill.
Yeah, we used to call it unleashing chaos.
They free roam 24/7.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They don't chew anything to pieces and tear anything apart?
No.
Your controller.
That's wild. Mine were
They-
so destructive.
So they stole my controller once, but they didn't want the controller. They just wanted the case that was on it, and they haven't touched it since. I have to keep my headphones up because I'll steal those, but that's it.
Ours would climb couches to climb the walls to get on top of clocks, and then get stuck on top of the clock, and then start like chewing and tearing apart the clock because they want it down.
No,
Ours
these-
would sneak. We made the mistake of putting one of the kitchen counters like by the little pass-through window from the kitchen to the living room, and so 3 of the ferrets got up there, and they stole 2 mixing spoons, they stole a whisk, and they stole something else, and they took it all, and they took it down and behind the couch, and like that was in like a minute and a half. They were only out for a minute and a half. And then I was like, because they were out, I was going to make dinner. I went around to go start dinner, and my cup thing by the stove that had all the utensils in it was on its side. And I was like, where are all my spoons? And my whisk is gone. And I was like, oh, fuck. There's ferrets have been up here, I guess. And I went looking for it, and I fucking had to pull the couch out from the wall, and they were all down there. And I heard nothing. So I have no idea how they got them off the couch, onto the ground, dragged around, and behind the couch again.
Mischief.
Yep.
Magic.
Yep, mischief noodles.
Ichigo likes to steal my beauty blenders.
Yes. All the cats love to take Jessica's hair ties, and one of the cats, this is one of those weird cat traits. One of the cats, after anyone takes off their shoes, especially if they've been wearing shoes all day, goes and plunges his whole face into your shoe and just sits there, getting that full aroma.
That's funny.
Yeah. She will
Razio
steal.
likes to steal my PopCap figures.
Really?
Yeah. He particularly likes my crow and my garnet.
Good taste. Good taste.
Yeah. I thought so. It's like at least he's refined. He's got refined palate.
Yeah. She got her name because, like, after we decided to keep her, she has a habit of watching TV with us.
Mm-hmm.
Because she sits on the back, like, she sits on the top of the couch behind us while we watch TV. And we noticed that, like, when we were watching Bleach, because I watched through the entirety of it for the first time, every time that they would call Ichigo's name, she would, like, turn her head at it. And after a certain point, she used to, like, she talks and she chirps and she screams, as you all know, because she's orange. And so she started chirping every time they said his name. So we decided to name her Ichigo because she's also got the same hair color as him. Because he's an orange gremlin of a Soul Reaper, and she's an orange gremlin. So she's Ichigo Purasaki, the captain of the Fort Force, the Strawberry Soul Reaper, and the Kirigami.
And very content with that.
Yeah, I wanted to name her Rengiku, but sadly she was not sassy enough to be Rengiku. She was too chaotic.
She was too what?
She was too chaotic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rengiku does have style and flair. Because the goal was to get, because whenever we got her and I was thinking of Rengiku, I was like, oh, well, I could get another cat named the other cat Hinako, which is Rengiku's Zanpakuto. But now I am resigned to getting I really want a white pit bull with blue eyes named Grimjow. So I can have Ichigo and Grimjow, which is Ichigo's antagonist.
So, oddly enough, Jessica likes big dogs, and I know you've met him before, but our current dog is little. He's a Schnauzer.
Yes.
And he's a rescue. Totally, we got him just because we had space, or actually because we didn't have a dog. We don't have space. and and he's a small dog. But Jessica's always wanted a big dog, and my brother is a very huge dog person, and for some reason he loves this breed of dogs called a Cane Corso.
Oh, I love Cane Corsos. They're so big.
And so every time a Cane Corso comes up for adoption or anything like that, he starts sending us emails and IMs. And it's like, look at this sweet baby. You wanted a big dog, didn't you? Look at this. And he just sends us all this stuff going, you can adopt. I was like, you just want to come over and play with that fucking dog.
And they're good family dogs too.
They
They're-
are psychotically protective dogs.
They need like severe training. Like they need to be trained like military dogs to be properly engaged, because they're also working dogs. They get so bored so quickly, and they're such high energy dogs too. Like they do great with like teenagers. Apparently a Cane Corso is happiest if you have a teenager who's on a track and field.
That
Is
go
the
running
joke
with them.
I've had, because they can run together.
That's
They
funny.
can play chase.
They're adorable is what that is.
I love
And they're
that.
fucking like huge. They're
They're
horse
they're
dogs.
horse, they're horse dogs. I love bully mixes. I like my dream dog was always to get a Roddy and a Pity mix
Oh,
because they're
I
so pretty.
I had Rotties growing up, and they are just the sweetest. Oh,
Fucking
They're just
Roddies
my
are.
Rottweilers.
I always call Roddies the shovelhead love boys because they have that super wide, flattish head, and then so like but they bond so hard with the family.
Yes.
They're just like they're like giant fucking babies.
yeah. I'll never forget. We had a pair of them
Mhm.
when I was a kid.
How was that
with
separation
my mom.
anxiety?
Oh my god, it was a lot. But when my mom became pregnant with my sister,
Mhm.
they became ultra protective of her too.
Yep.
Like
That's
my
my baby.
dad could not go near my mother without like. Mm-mm. I'm like, what's wrong with you? It's like,
Bodyguard.
back off, back off.
Yeah, that's one of the
Dad
other
would
things that they say about Cane Corsos. They are very dominant personality dogs.
Yes.
And so if you do not maintain your authority with them, then they will say, you suck at leading, I'll do it.
Yes.
You're right.
I personally like I used to want a staffy, which are the small pit bulls,
Terriers, yeah.
the short boys. But they have so many health issues that I decided like that's probably not in my cards. But I just like pit bulls as a breed because they're just very versatile. A lot of them are very healthy because they're not purebred,
Yeah.
and they get like the usual old dog things going on, but they also usually live for like 12, 14 years if you take really, 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 really good care of them from puppy up. But like I would want to get a rescue, and I religiously follow a couple of like local-ish rescues, and I'm just like, I need one that's nice to cats. I need one that's nice to cats.
A really good rescue organization. I cannot tout them enough. It's where we got Gallifrey. Is Three Little Pitties, and they're based out of Texas. And they are the best. When we chose them, they like kept in constant contact with us like throughout the whole process. Sent us like videos and pictures, and it was beautiful. And then they kind of kept us updated because they drove him. They put those dogs in like big ass vans because they are so popular here in the Pacific Northwest that they have a route that they do once a month. They drive and they drop off their dogs at like spots so that the adoptees can come, or adopters can come and pick them up. And so we were made abreast of like that entire journey. We got to pick him up, and I mean, we got him at like, I want to say 14 or 15 weeks.
Mhm.
And he was already, fairly big. Like I had to like two-hand carry him. But yeah, you say you want a Staffy? He's a Staffy pit mix.
No, I know he's so cute. But at the first time I saw him, I'm just like, I need Sphinx's address. I'm gonna go steal the dog.
No, he's mine.
Yeah,
I
that's
realized I'm
one
like,
thing. Yeah,
no.
we're not gonna do any more dog adopting for a while, because there's just too. It's not a big enough. It's not a big enough house. But we are huge pit bull lovers, and
Yeah.
they are like I always just hate hearing about how bad of a rep they get, because it's all about the owners. It's not about the
Yeah.
dog.
And that organization are really big on like pit bull advocacy and education as well. So like
Yeah.
I will support them and fundraise for them as often as I can
I mean,
because
the
they're fantastic.
Yeah, the Staffordshire Terrier, the dog that pit bulls are descended from, in England, where the dog was originally created, they were called the nanny dog
Mm-hmm.
because they were considered to be so gentle and protective that you could leave them with a baby and not worry about the baby.
Even up until now, we brought Raziel home.
Mm-hmm.
And Gallifrey has been just worries over him. Just completely just wants to make sure that he's okay all the time. Like Raziel will be like laying down, I lay it out on the floor. Here comes Gallifrey. You doing okay? What? Sniffing him, nosing him a little bit. You all right? You okay? You all
Want a
right?
snack?
Okay.
Need
And
anything?
yeah, and when he's satisfied, Raziel will go into like not even like the next room. Will go sit in the doorway where he can see Raziel and just in case you need me. It's like he's my cat.
Nope,
You are my dog. He is my cat.
That is Gallifrey's cat.
That's
Apparently,
Gallifrey's cat. My
So
cat
is
is.
Raphael as big as Gallifrey yet?
he will eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
He's already Raziel's already the biggest cat in the house at only 9 months old.
Yeah.
You go.
You wanted the Mancoon?
Yeah, no, I know. That was not a complaint. It's just like every time I see him, it's like you're gonna be big. This is what I wanted, and I know I wanted this, but like I was not prepared for how quickly this was going to happen. I thought this was going to be a little bit more of a slow thing. I would have Tiny Kitten for a little while longer. Nope, we brought him home. He was tiny, and then all of a sudden, it's like, all right,
You left for Gen Con and you have a lion in your house now.
Yeah.
yeah. We actually call him our little lion.
Hello.
I have pictures of Ichigo in a lion's mane that I made her wear. Not this last Halloween, but the Halloween before. I got 3 pictures. 2 of them are super blurry, and I had to delete them, so I have 1 picture of her in a lion's mane.
I want to get him a pair of black wings so he can dress them for Halloween.
Buckley's put on some pounds.
Oh,
Ain't you, Buckley? Oh man, he needs to get a haircut. Look at those eyebrows. Look at those eyebrows.
Oh my goodness. Just an old
Look at your
man.
eyebrows. Look at your eyebrows.
oh, scruffy man.
Just an old man.
Just like, yeah, it's me. I'm just here with my dad.
I'm gonna just chill out right here.
Not being plastic.
Hey, you're eating plastic.
Ichigo.
I'm gonna chill out right here. Stop eating plastic.
Stop eating plastic, you.
Do the ferrets eat plastic? Do the ferrets steal plastic?
The ferrets will steal whatever they want to steal. Oops.
Raziel will occasionally. Still some plastic.
The ferrets have the attention span of a gnat, so it depends on what's caught their attention at that very second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time the entire time a ferret's attention span lasts longer is when you see them dragging something.
Yeah. Ichigo's new thing is she likes to try to steal dish sponges, like clean ones.
Oh, Annabelle does that too. Our little solid black cat.
She doesn't have the decency to steal the dirty ones, just the good ones, the used ones that are in the good pack. And she's like, no, I want the new one. I don't want the dirty one.
Annabelle is not that selective. Any sponge will do.
Did you get him do you have we have this for all of our cats actually, little balls that are made out of sponge material? They love that shit.
No, because she tries to eat it.
We do the thing where I do the thing where I just wad up
The
some-
remains of one.
Yeah. They have to be biodegradable so they can eat it.
Yeah.
I wad up a piece of aluminum foil, but I make sure that it's not smooth. It's all crinkly, and then I throw it, and the cats will go chase after it, and they won't want to give it back because when they bite into it, the crinkles stimulate their gums, and for some reason that makes them go nuts.
Yeah.
And so then they'll keep on playing with it and attacking it. And I basically do that when the cats have got the zoomies too bad and they're going nuts. So I'll make a bunch of those and throw them on the floor. And they'll play with them so hard. They'll play with them so hard that they'll fucking just pass out. And then I go collect them because they will keep on, if you don't go collect them, they will keep on chewing on them until the foil comes apart and then they'll swallow the foil. So you cannot leave them out. So you go pick them up and I throw them away.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that.
So I have to make every time I get I get new beauty blenders, I have to have a sacrificial one. So I will buy the dollar store ones that are like the really rough material that don't actually do anything for makeup purposes. I will buy sacrificial ones at the dollar store, like a tube of them, and like the gift sets. And so then she gets a sacrificial one, and she leaves my actual ones alone.
Because she has
for the
her own.
most part. But whenever I do my makeup, she will sit next to me and has like hawk eyes on my fucking beauty blender in its case. And she's waiting for me to walk away so she can steal it right off my desk.
Does she still let you put makeup on her?
No, she does not. I have makeup brushes that like are completely clean because they're older. And like I just kept them after a while because they're too rough to use on myself. But I used to like brush her with the brush because apparently it's supposed to soothe them, but no, she wants to eat it. And I'm like, all right, you're being a grandma and you're not cute anymore. Goodbye.
Yeah, cats are always gremlins.
She does talk. She talks a lot. She screams.
Yep.
The
one that's been climbing all over me, that's a little bit. Her name is based off the song. Oh, she's sweet, but she's psycho, little bit psycho. And when I sing that song, she gets mad. But she's busy giving herself a bath, so I'm safe. But she's, she's fucking for the longest time, she was our berserker. She might be pissed off, but she can't get me. But yeah, she was our berserker. She would just like go ape shit for everything. And when we had her as a kitten, she has this weird thing that she loves when she sleeps. She wants to get between us, and then she wants us to roll over on top of her. And when she was a little kitten, like tiny little kitten, first rescued her, we were keeping her in our bedroom with us, and because we didn't know what her habits were like or anything like that. We were just keeping her in the bedroom with us, and she climbed up on the bed when we were sleeping one night and got between us while we were asleep, and we didn't know it. And I woke up the next morning, and there's that tiny little kitten in between us, and I was like, "Oh my god, we crushed it to death!" Because it was just laying there, and because it was like just floppity, And so finally I was like, I think we killed the kitten. And it's looking at, and finally it just opens its eyes and its fur is all like disjointed and it's everywhere. It looks fucking crazy. And then kid's like, this blinking at us, says, are we getting up now? It's just like, I was like, oh God, it's fucking completely insane. It likes being smashed to death.
Yeah. Ichigo has an internal clock of chaos. So she will usually so sometimes she'll sleep for like the first half of our stream, and then by the time we go on break, then she like hears me moving around because I usually put cat TV on for her, so she gets to watch her birds and squirrels and things. She's an iPad kid, and you know what? It keeps her out of trouble. It's fine.
I know.
Not destroy the TV.
Cove is just sitting there on her phone.
She can be an iPad cat. She's fine. And so, like, usually then she'll get up about the same, like, wake up from her nap of being an iPad kid by the time we go on break. And then she'll run around and then get zoomies. Well, first she has to make her mandatory appearance on any stream I'm on. And she does. But she specifically wants to sit on my notebooks. And it's like, child, I am the note taker. You cannot do this to me. She does that on my Thursday stream a lot, where I just have gaps in my notes because it's what Ichigo decided she wanted to just lay on me. And she likes it when I hold her, where she's like got her legs between like my arm in between her, and she just like, I call it her car seat, but she loves it whenever I hold her like that and walk around the house. So she will demand to be held, or she wants to try to stand on my shoulders while I walk around the kitchen.
Shoulder cats are the
And
best.
yeah, and do a balancing act because she's chaos. She's not a scarf cat, sadly. She does not like to be bundled, so she won't be a like a baby sash cat. Sadly, I think she would prefer.
None of our cats are sash cats. A little bit likes to be baby, but only for a certain amount of time and only by me. If anyone else tries it, she goes ape shit and tears them to pieces. Our old man Shatner doesn't like to be picked up too much, but he will tolerate it, but only to like be moved somewhere else. And Shatner is the one who sleeps on us all the time, me or Jessica. He's sleeping on somebody. And then there is Annie Bell, yeah, Annie Bell's. She is sweet and nice and she's just nice. And then the two we got from my dad, she's a tuxedo, long hair tuxedo. She never comes into our bedroom, let alone comes all the way in here. So I've never been able to get her on stream. And they are like a hugely furry, fat tuxedo. And she just like thinks that she owns the rest of the house completely. And she just like, just yells at everyone and everything when they come through the room. Yeah, just like, why are you in my room? Get the fuck, you have your rooms, get the fuck out of my room. And I'm like, but it's the living room. Like with the fucking the dungeon laid out on the table. She's like, oh, thank you for this very uncomfortable bed. Plop. Why? You're laying literally on top of hard plastic. That can't be comfortable. Yes, but this is my room. You set this up in my room, so it's for me. And then Baxter comes and goes everywhere all over the house, and you've seen him on stream. He's the huge orange and white chonker, and so he's adopted me for some reason, but he's just one of those cats that's just like, holy crap, can you just stop yelling at me?
No.
He comes in here and he stands up. Because he's tall, his head's almost as tall as my armrest, and so he stands up, he puts his paws on me, and he just sticks his claws into my thigh and just starts yelling at me. And sometimes I think he wants food, and I'll get up and all the food bowls are full, and I was like, what do you want? And I'll sit back down, and he'll do it again, and I just start petting him, and then he starts like twining on my leg. It's like, you just want to be petted? That's what you want?
Just want attention when they want it.
I was like, well, then jump up here. I like try and put up my lap. Nope. Won't sit in anyone's lap. Nope, can't do that. Jeez. Right. Cats are such hard work.
You hear that?
He said, what? I'm busy chewing on you and stuff.
Yeah, this is her car seat position. This is what she likes to be held by.
Chomp, 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 chomp.
We're getting as fun as this is. I need to get going. Yeah. So I can spend some time with my ladies before they go to bed.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you, everyone, for in chat for talking with us. It was really fun. Love you guys so much. And we're just going to go ahead and see. Oh, let's just go ahead and raid. I think ADH Adventures is still on. So we'll go raid them.
Yes, they are.
ADH Adventures. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to, we'll be probably doing another night like this tomorrow night, because the same people who are missing tonight are missing tomorrow as well, because they had to do some personal things. So, you guys, we can chill out tomorrow night. Maybe we'll actually play something tomorrow, like Jackbox or something like that. But we might just sit around and chit chat again. We will see you guys later. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, dinner game, we always save you a seat at the table. Be sure to do your best to social distance. Wear a mask when you can. Do what you can to keep yourself safe, because we want you to be able to come back and join us every single time you can. And I almost forgot. I'm horrible. Do you folks want to say where people can find you on the massive interwebs? Let's start with Cove. I didn't change your handle yet, so I think it's still under Rex. Oh, I don't think I've even added it yet. I'm such a horrible person.
I
I
thought
was
you
just
did
like,
edit.
I thought I
Dang,
did.
dang it!
Well, I might have added it under Streamlabs, and I haven't added it under here because this is Restream IO. So let me check and see something. But anyway, Vex, would you like to tell everyone they can find you on the massive interwebs?
It's Vexomniari on Linktree. That'll get you everywhere else.
There's Vex's stuff. Yeah, it's on Streamlabs, but it's not on here yet. And I have it now, and I'll put it into chat real quick. So Vex, are you falling asleep?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could tell. All right, Sphinx, would you like to tell everyone where they can find you on the massive interwebs?
Well, hello, I'm Sphinx Akasha, your current reigning champion of bards. That may or may not be changing in the future. We will see. Yeah. You and Bernarsa both. Yeah. You and Bernarsa both have been giving me the hard time. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Wait.
Fine.
Is this like an open call? Like, listen.
Maybe. We'll talk.
We're gonna have to set up a pentathlon for the champion of bards title.
Oh my goodness!
A bardic pentathlon.
There is a project in the works. I'll say that. That is. I can't talk about too much right now. However, when we are able to talk about it,
I will stick my bard necromancer back in her box.
But you can find me on TikTok as Circle DM, the one and only, accept no substitutes. There are some copycats out there. They are not me. I'm the one and only Circle DM. This face. Also, everywhere else, Sphinx Akasha. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, you can find me right here with Dinner and a Game. Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, you can find me playing with ADH Adventures. Every other Friday, running my own campaign, Agents of the Circle. We're in our 5th and final season. They have finally made it to the 36th chamber of the Wu-Tang, the temple underneath the caverns underneath the temple of the Wu-Tang. Shit's about to go down. It's going to be a great time. So go and check that out. It's also a podcast. So the other 4+ seasons are wherever you get your podcasts. So just, type in Agents of the Circle, and surely one of those podcasts will pop up because we're kind of all over the place now.
Dun, dun, dun.
But yeah, that's us.
Excellent.
For me.
Thank you, sir. And Diamond?
Hiya, I'm Madness Diamond, but since we're friends now, you can call me Diamond. You can find me everywhere on social media at Madness Diamond, unless you're looking for me on TikTok, then I'm at Madness Diamond 2.0. Today I just started posting the first part of my mini part of the series. I don't know. I have ADHD and a lot of shit going on. But I'm going to try and do some OC recap, game mechanic explanations of the role-playing game system.
That's so exciting.
First part of this is I'm exploring the Master class, which uses the D20, because everything in every class die is one of the classic 7 die, but only 6 of them go to the Paragons, and the Master has the D20. If you want to play a game where the Game Master is also a player, you can play Die. Written by Kieran Gillen and Stephanie Hans by the comic of the same name. So it's been my hyperfixation for 3 years. I finally have the book. I finally have a little bit of time. I got 10 more videos to post still, and I got to edit all the rest of the 10. If TikTok stops fucking up my videos. But yeah, come follow me on TikTok. I'm also posting them on Instagram Reels as I find the time to cross-platform some shit. You can also find me working as the admin assistant for Decrim 305, which is a sex worker organization in Miami, Florida. I am their long-distance social media helper, basically, but I'm also doing some admin stuff while we get ready for Slutwalk 2024, which is their 4th annual Slutwalk. On the national, I think it's the national protest of violence against sex workers. So, and if you are a sex worker in TTRPG, come jump into my DMs, please. We want to host a live stream on Instagram sometime soon discussing the intersections of sex workers in TTRPG and what our audience base and what our experiences contribute to this lovely community and what things we would like to see change in the world, because whorephobia is not cool, and everyone should be able to have fun in their hobbies. And let's see, and excitedly, physical prints of the Vampires of Color 2024 zine have finally started hitting people's mailboxes. So if you ordered a copy of it, then just check your mailbox. And if you do, you might see a very familiar name as one of the writers in it. You can also find it as a digital PDF for the Vampires of Color Crimson Kisses Volume 2. My name is Diamond Lynn, and you can come read my Fellowship in Ferocity, which is from the point of view of my gang girl from Twin Cities by Night, Kit, and her conversation with her beast, who she calls my soul, and what it means to be connected to your beast in a connection that's a little bit deeper than life can lead to. If you want to read a more adult version, you can find the Vampires of Color After Dark, where I have a very spicy collab with Nana Moon, where we wrote some good queer sapphic. I wrote some good queer sapphic shit, and Nana gave me some wonderful artwork to go with it. That one is only in a PDF version, and they're both available on BIPOC Vampires. It's BIPOC Vamp Days Ko-fi shop. The physical book, the proceeds from these still do go to charity, but they do take a little bit to ship out. So if you want to pick up the PDF, you can do that, and I highly recommend it. You can see my writing. But yeah, sex work is real work. All these people are lovely. Don't forget to follow Cove, because Cove is also on a Vampire the Masquerade stream on Saturdays, buddy.
You're plugging me in my game.
Yes, because you didn't say it, so I'm gonna say it for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me here on Tuesdays on Dinner Game, playing your lovely spooky housewife Dottie, usually. And then eventually, whenever we go back to Emerald Sanctums, I can go back to being the genderqueer Dean Winchester coded hunter idiot that I love.
Idiot.
I'm so excited to meet.
The squishy human who's allergic to magic.
And I do have one little announcement to make that I should have made at the beginning of the show. We are finally scheduling the debut of our new Sunday D&D game that is going to be run by Crafty Mirage. It is going to be on Sunday afternoon starting at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and it is debuting on December 3rd. So we're actually going to be running some games during the holiday weeks, because I'm letting Crafty run that, and we may be having found fun enough players for Cyberpunk Red so that we can get started with that. Cove, you might have another game to play on every other Friday. So if you're still down for that.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead. Huh? What was that?
Oh, I wasn't done yet.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I thought you were.
So,
My apologies.
on Thursdays, you can find me on World Tree Quest, where I play Melusine Luce Vestra, my wonderful Battlemaster fighter, who's going through it. Her and her basically kind of brother, but not brother, had a hard conversation where she had to confess that she was keeping close to them for very selfish reasons, because she's a very selfish person. But the roleplay aspects of it are wonderful. If you want to see some traumatizing heartbreak that's not really traumatizing, but more like soul-searching, tune in to that at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on World Tree Quests, which is our completely underwater homebrew 5e campaign found below. And then every other Friday, you can find me here on Dinner Game playing in Best Days, the Tales from the Loop game that we are wrapping up soon.
Yep. We've got
This
maybe... no, I think we got 2 more sessions, so we might have one more after this one.
I'm asking this Friday, right?
Oh, yes. No, it's this Friday. Yes, it's this Friday.
Yeah. This Friday at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Yep, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can see me play Songbird Like You. And if you missed last session, Songbird Like You, the troublemaker, managed to wrangle a marriage contract promise pact out of our residents' burnout, basically. Robbie, to where if they make it to 35 and survive the bird anarchy cult trying to kill humanity through a power plant explosion of a military base, they're gonna get married as adults if they just end up being single. So
And
yeah.
alive.
And alive. Mostly alive, because it's the 80s. That's what you do, right?
Yep. You're growing up in the era and the age of the nuclear shadow, so yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
you make marriage pacts that you don't think you're gonna live long enough to see. Then you end up 35 and you're like, fuck, I gotta go marry my friend. It's fine. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Dun dun dun. And you can find Dinner and Games content on our link tree, and all these people's wonderful links are in our chat right now. Remember, the biggest thing you can do for any one of our creators is to give them a follow. It's the most massive serotonin boost we can have. We're going to go ahead now and take our little bit of serotonin, dump it into someone else's serotonin pool, and we're going to go raid ADH Adventures, and that's on our Twitch channel. If you're on the other channels, you're just going to see us say goodnight to you, and we love you, and we will see you guys next time. Have a very, very safe evening. Bye.